Hello and welcome to the JR's Gaming Podcast, where we talk about the rise of Nintendo and what this great gaming franchise has in store for us in the future of gaming, and of course, the country from which it was born, Japan. I'm joined by my good friend, Nintendo music producer and temporary co-host Elijah Terp, as our main co-host Rowan Fern is currently away. Elijah, how have you been this week?
I've been good. Thank you very much. I've had a very uneventful week though, so
Yep.
bit bored, but oh well.
Oh, bit uneventful week. Same here, but I did have a massive breakthrough in my job. Job experience, looking for a job. Me and my friend have started a business, quite literally. It's he lives around the corner from me, and he's been thinking about this for a long time. But I'm going to help him do this. So I'm going to be, of course, employed by him. But we've started a fish breeding business because I've been studying animal care. Yep. R&J Aquatics is now on the ground in 2 to 3 weeks. So it'll be quite interesting to see how this goes. So yeah, really, really good stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much been it this week.
That's impressive though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You gonna buy some fish, Elijah?
Know where to put them, but if I did, I would. Yeah.
You put an order through. Yeah, but we're doing postage, and a lot of people are like, "What? You can post fish?" But yeah, it is a thing. It's just you have to really have you have to have a license, of course, which we've obtained to get the fish posted properly and first class. And we can't post to certain areas of the UK because it's not guaranteed it will get there in the same sort of within the first 24 hours. Otherwise, it's not good for good for the fish. To be fair, it's been posted around, but yeah, it's been pretty quite good. We're taking orders in 2 to 3 weeks. Been doing designs and working hard on that, and yeah, that's pretty much been it. But yeah, is anything else you've been up to this week? Anything?
Absolutely
else?
Nothing. What you're doing sounds exciting though.
It does. Although we have been talking about this. I mean, I talked about this on WhatsApp, but I've been quite impressed listening to your album which you released lately on your YouTube channel. Is it what's the album called again? I've lost my mind.
Which one? Because there were 2 of them.
Right, it's the one with the AI art on it.
Oh yeah, called Delusions of Security.
That's it, Delusions of Security. I listened to all of that this week, and I was really quite impressed at this style. At how it kind of changed. It had like a jazz track in there, had a bit of Latin sort of style going on there. I was big, well done. I'd say 100%. Any listeners out there, go and check it out because it's really quite good. Yeah, and I think I asked you about this before. The bass lines in your music you've done recently, I've been really quite impressed with the clarity of how good that is. So that'd be good to see what we can do because I've got a bass guitar. I was in a band, and I really want to see what I can do with my sort of bass guitar. And
yeah, of course, I'll give you some lessons on producing and things. Yeah.
That'd be great. So I'm looking forward to that. So we've been talking about maybe future music plans. Who knows? Maybe it may be a JR's Gaming Podcast upgrade to the current bass line that we've got now.
Yeah.
Because as we've had this bass line for quite a long time, it's like the one at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can play your own one and then record it. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah.
Exactly. So that the actual line we use is from the actual sort of transitions that you get with the editing software for Anchor podcasts.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of creating something similar to that, but in our own sort of way. And of course, you're the man to help out with that because you've creating albums and stuff. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised because I only put I put one post on my community tab about the album, and it got like I think probably like 12 people that's noticed it because the algorithm is very good at community posts. Yeah. But then the actual videos themselves, even though they're actually technically hidden on my channel because of distribution rights and things, I haven't uploaded them as a video. They're put separately by YouTube themselves. They've uploaded their own version of it. But those videos got hundreds of views, and I'm so confused. I'm like, where did these people? How did you find it? Because on the algorithm, they're just randomly getting it recommended to them, and they've never seen me before or anything, and people seem to like it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. Because this is my first attempt at proper composition for like classical music, and I've never done that before. So I was like, oh, well, people seem to like it, so that's good.
That's really quite interesting. So they've actually, it's like a set. I noticed it was a bit separate because I didn't see it like on your channel.
Yeah, you won't be able to find it on the videos. You have to go on the homepage and scroll all the way down to albums, which is a YouTube music kind of thing. But it is also on Spotify and places like that. So
right, was it doing well on Spotify as well? Or was YouTube your main sort of
YouTube is
revenue.
YouTube is the main, but Spotify got a few listeners on there already,
Hmm.
which is good. Again, because I haven't really advertised it that much. I feel like I should be advertising it more. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is quite interesting you mentioned this because YouTube have been doing some weird things lately. And I say weird and interesting, that is, with content, right? Because they've recently produced this thing for YouTube creators called podcasts, which
Okay.
only just popped up in the last few weeks. Like, so when you're a YouTube creator, on the YouTube Studio homepage, you've got like all sorts of options. And then they've only just recently introduced podcasts. And I was like, what's this? And it basically, I'm guessing it's similar to what you've done there with the music. It's like a playlist almost like an album, but it's just podcast. It's all it is podcast. So what I've done is I was like, all right, well, I might as well just use that facility. And I put all our videos that we're doing on the main, just they're being displayed to the public. I also put them in the playlist for the JR's Gaming podcast in the podcast section, if that
Right.
if that makes sense. Yeah. And we've been getting a lot more, I would say, podcast people who want to listen to podcasts listening in, which is really quite interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course, we distribute our podcast to a lot of listening platforms. So a lot of things like Audible, Castbox, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. That's what we're all on, right? And that's where most of our listeners are listening in. Most of you guys, and then we've only just started. I think I've mentioned this a couple of times. Uploading our episodes to YouTube as well, so we can grab that audience if they want to listen to that. And of course, we have the exclusive thumbnails for our podcast, like episodes. I design a thumbnail for each one, which should be quite interesting. But yeah, basically, yeah, we've had within the first few weeks, I think a lot of people were coming over from our listenership and they were also supporting it. And then you also had the majority that just clicked on the thumbnail and were like, man, it's just talking, and then just got off it because it's not a video. But ever since I started the podcasts, like it's almost like a different audience that YouTube knows where to.
That's interesting. That's good though. That's actually I'm proud. If that's the case, I'm proud of YouTube, because that probably means that the reason that my videos randomly got views from out of nowhere when I hadn't like even advertised them probably was because like YouTube has like a new section for like music and podcasts and things.
100%.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm really impressed with, because they've figured out there are a lot of creators out there that aren't getting enough attention that they deserve, which I agree with your music as well, right? Because there was that album was really hard worked on, I can imagine. And then you're like, if you upload it to YouTube, it's like, it's not really getting as much because people go on YouTube for all sorts of things. But then now YouTubers seem to have found a way of getting it to the right audience in a way.
Yeah,
it's really quite interesting. Like, it's a new algorithm.
I'm proud of you, YouTube. You're changing finally.
Yes, thank you, YouTube. Yeah, this is amazing. It literally just happens. And when you said this, I was like, that really does make sense now. Like, they've of course they put that out to people who are actually looking for albums to listen to on YouTube, music people.
Yeah, but I guess that is also, it's a good step. It's a step in the right direction. It's not I feel like it's not quite there for music YouTubers yet still, because let's say you're a music YouTuber and you make videos about music, or you make like me Nintendo music remasters and things like that. Those still aren't getting pushed anywhere. Those are kind of just being left alone, and then anyone who searches for them will find them.
Right.
But at least the albums, like the original albums, are getting pushed. So that's something.
That is something. That is good.
Hopefully in the future, the rest of the music content will be kind of put on the front page, as well as all the other content.
Exactly.
So hopefully.
Yeah. So it's like a step in the right direction by YouTube, which is really quite good, because I'm like, wow, it actually, particularly with the it's the length that you can tell people listen to it. It's like average listening time or something. It's like at first it was like for the majority of people who just clicked on it for the video, they were like, they listened to 3 minutes and they clicked off it. Yeah, and then as soon as this podcast thing popped up and I started putting our videos into that as well, we've had people listening to the entire full video, like multiple people. Yeah. Like, I'm talking 10s to 20s of people on YouTube that have not discovered our podcast before, that they're completely new. And they've discovered it and they've enjoyed it. It's just really good. So yeah, I'd like to say to YouTube, thank you, YouTube, even though you're probably not listening to this, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Even though you still make mistakes every day, but thank you. This is one good thing. Thank you.
One good thing, indeed. But anyway, for the notes, what have you been playing this week? I guess you've had an uneventful week. Have you had any time to pop on a gaming console of some kind and crack out a game this week?
Yep. pure Ace Attorney.
Pure Ace Attorney.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
what
trying
we
to
like
get
to
through the
hear.
games again, and also they're very long, visual novel games. So takes a
Yeah,
while, but yeah, I'm going through them again. They're very
that's
enjoyable,
good.
very fun. What about you?
Exercise for the brain.
Mm.
Yeah, I've been actually delving into 2 games. Of course, Animal Crossing. Of course, New Leaf. I'm afraid I just love this game. I mean, Animal Crossing New Leaf is still a massive part of my just love for most. Like that doesn't make really, but the sentence didn't make sense. But yeah, Animal Crossing New Leaf is one of my favorite games. Like it
Mm.
always will be, even with the new horizons that have been pushed out. Animal Crossing New Leaf will always be played by me a lot, and me and my friends play it all the time. And it's just yeah, so I've been playing that a bit with friends, going to each other's islands, designing more of the Japanese castle, which I mentioned in the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
episode. It's coming on nicely. I've created the onsen room. It's like lots of onsens and Japanese sort of bamboo walls and floor design. And I've got like a hot springs, and I've got
Ooh,
the
okay.
deer scare, which is like that bamboo that goes up and down and makes a noise like.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a zen, like a zen sort of sound.
Mm.
But I've been doing that, and then also I've been revisiting the good old Pokemon Moon.
Okay.
Just I'm upgrading some of my Pokemon because there's a hacked software that you can use. That's a new Pokemon bank. That probably most people who hack would know what I'm talking about. But a Pokemon Bank is paid for, the original app for Nintendo eShop, which will be closing on the 27th, by the way.
Oh.
Oh
2
no.
days. Oh no.
2 days, 2 days, guys. This is your reminder. If you need
Well,
to
we've
get
said
something,
this is your last chance so many times, but we really mean it now. Like this is quite literally your last chance.
quite literally, it's literally 2 days. We can't stop that. It's 2 days
Mm.
away. Nintendo are doing it. They're shutting the eShop for good, and it's really
Oh.
sad. It's really sad. But yeah, I've been doing Pokemon Moon, and but anyway, you can get Pokemon. You can create Pokemon from scratch, and this could be classed as cheating. And there is actually rules to this because you can't actually play with these sort of. If you create a Pokemon from scratch and make them level 100 and shiny and all this stuff, and put like moves that they can't do onto them, that's like almost like breaking the rules, and that will get you banned if you're playing online.
Mm.
So yeah, don't do that. I used it to transfer Pokemon from my Pokemon Y to my Pokemon Moon. So
Okay. Yeah.
I've got all my team transferred into Pokemon Moon. So I'm like, wow, I can
Mm.
do that. So yeah, but that's
That's
it.
that's also good because on the eShop there is a I forget what it's called, but there's an app for 3DS that lets you transfer your Pokemon from your DS games to your 3DS.
Do you
And
know what that's
once
called?
no, I need to look
Yeah.
it up, or I'll tell you later and put it in the description.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
once that is gone in 2 days' time, your Pokemon, unless you have a hacked DS, they are locked in your, you know,
Mm,
pre 3DS games. They will be
exactly.
stuck there, and you cannot put them onto your 3DS games after that.
It's
So,
tragic.
yeah. So again, another thing to think about for the eShop is if you want to transfer your Pokemon across generations, you need certain apps to do it. So,
100%. Because I
mm,
know people out there probably not got the money or the time, or they simply don't want to hack their DS. I've found that out with quite a few of our listeners. They're like, I just don't want to do it in case it goes wrong, which is understandable.
yeah, fair, yeah,
And so go to the eShop now. Otherwise, it's going to be not
because
possible
it's
for you
free as
guys.
well. It's a free app on the eShop for Pokemon.
Mm,
Look it up. Really, there's so many videos that talk about the stuff that you won't want to miss, like that you need to get from the eShop now, and it's always
mm,
on those lists, the Pokemon one. So
that's
have a
the good
look,
thing.
everyone. Yeah, if you're interested, have a look because it's your last
Mm.
chance. Yeah.
That's the good thing, though. I've been recognizing a lot of YouTubers, gaming YouTubers, have recently, I don't know if you've noticed this, they've been recently making a lot of videos about the 3DS and how they love it and how the
Yeah, yeah.
Nintendo eShop is closing and their recommendations. It's almost like all the gamers in the world are coming together and they're being like, we support 3DS and this is sad.
Mm.
So definitely there's loads of videos on the YouTube and stuff that are telling us how to like top 10 recommendations of free games or mini games that cost small money but they'll be gone forever once
Yeah.
the shop is shut down unless you have a hacked 3DS. But yeah, it's very sad, and yeah, 27th of March it will be the end of it all.
The end of the
But
world. Yeah.
end of the world. Oh dear. But yeah, anyway, on to the news of the week. This is I don't know what to think about this. It's pretty sad. This is a very sad sort of episode. But anyway, let's read this out. So, Animal Crossing New Horizons will become unplayable in 37 years. Well, let's read this. If you're looking forward to playing Animal Crossing during your retirement, you better hope Nintendo makes a new one soon. Nintendo is famous for their strange and inscrutable decisions, but deciding to end all support for Animal Crossing New Horizons after less than 2 years is definitely one of their most inexplicable. New Horizons is the second best-selling Switch game at 42 million copies sold, and very easy to update with new items and characters. Because Nintendo stopped adding new features, though, it's now stuck in amber forever, or at least until the space year 2060, when it will stop working completely. That's what fans think anyway, after experiments with the date settings on the Nintendo Switch revealed that it refuses to run the game from 2061 onwards. The game even has a specific error code message telling you to change the date on the console. So theoretically, it could still work if you change the Switch's date to pretend it's somewhere between the year 2000 and 2060. Why exactly the game won't run after this date is not clear, but probably something to do with the internal clock, which is supposed to keep in step with the actual time and date in the real world. It's all very odd, but you can guarantee there'll be a new Animal Crossing game before then. Although it's hard to guess when exactly the next one will be. The most obvious assumption is that, given the name's unexpected level of success, Nintendo wants a new title for their next console as soon as possible. Most predictions suggest that the new console will be released next year, or perhaps even this Christmas, but it seems unlikely a new Animal Crossing will be ready quite that soon. Big stuff here. I don't know, really. What do you think of this, Elijah?
I mean, it's a shame, but I mean, I think New Leaf has the same thing where there's a certain date that you can't play past. And even though, weirdly enough, I'm pretty sure I've tested it, and I thought New Leaf Long was further than New Horizons, but I could be mistaken. But yeah, it's weird how, I guess, Nintendo don't really want to keep the longevity of their games going for longer than they could. Like 37 years, that's not that long, you know. Like if you're an old man, you want to, I want to go back to playing, New Horizons. I love that one.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want to be playing it, still in like today's date rather than having to time travel back on your Nintendo Switch to actually do it? Feels a bit like, but yeah, it's a shame. But there will be a new one before then, so it doesn't matter too much. But it is a bit worrying.
Yeah, I've got two views on this. So first of all, with the whole time thing, I didn't really think about it, to be fair, because for instance, New Leaf is still going to stay with, and yeah, it's I believe it will keep going for quite a bit. But it kind of annoys me that they don't change this, like keep it going at least, like because I think it is possible. Like it probably is possible to program it to go to a date that's very far into the future. Like
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Not where by then it'll be different and stuff. But it's upsetting that they've just 2060, right? Of course, it's relatively speaking near. So it's like, well, it's gonna be shut. It's not going to be able to play beyond that year. It's kind of like it's a bit silly, to be fair. Like they could have actually got it longer than that, because Animal Crossing is a massively loved game by many people. Many people love it, and it's just like, well, it's a bit silly. I think it's a reputation Nintendo have kind of had. They've kind of always stopped something that's been good and got rid of it.
Yeah, like giving up early on things and things. Yeah, like the eShop, for example.
Exactly, like the eShop again. Like they could have kept that going. That's still, I don't understand. I think I said this to Rowan Fern, our co-host. I said, it's all money. It's money. They're still getting money from the eShop going straight to Nintendo. Why are they cutting that source off?
I think it's just like lack of resources to keep it going. But really, like, isn't it self-sufficient at this point? Like,
exactly, it's self-sufficient.
You could just say we're no longer going to update it, but you don't have to take it down. Like,
exactly, it's like you could just stop updating it, fine, but leave all the games on there. It's still some sort of revenue for Nintendo, money for Nintendo, and even so, there's a lot of weird gaming companies on there anyway, making really sketchy games that are kind of strange. So it's like, why take it down? And it's sort of the same thing that gets into things like Animal Crossing. For instance, Nintendo DS has stopped being sold. I can understand it's an old console, but it's just like when you get to games that are literally being created in 2017, a couple of years ago, but literally 4 years ago, to literally set it to stop at 2060 and be unplayable, and you can't, set the date back. It's just like, Yeah, come on, you could have at least made that go further on, at least to the year 3000 or something. I don't know.
I mean,
Because like,
realistically, with like, I feel like with the coding, it should be able to go on for an infinite amount of time because if they can
mm,
calculate just okay, these events are on these days, and then those will switch over every year if they're on like different days every year, then really you can just have like a calculator in your console that can figure out which days will be on, which years will have which days, and they can calculate leap years as well easily. So it's like really you should be able to just do the coding to set it so it's can infinitely count. Because like it's not like 1 year we're going to suddenly go, oh no, now March has 20 days, and like no one's going to change how our years work.
exactly.
So like
Yeah, that is a very good point. Like, why don't they just exactly? And another point there. Why don't they just leave it to go on to infinity?
Yeah, I don't think there's any. I feel like it
yeah,
is doable.
it's doable. I
It's just
think.
not wanting to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the way we've come in technology. I mean, it's simple. Just keep the date going constantly, constantly. It should be simple to do. It's one small thing, and I guess it probably does impact quite a lot of things, people, because it just feels weird. I would say playing a simulator, a life sort of simulator game such as Animal Crossing with saying, "Oh, 2016," it'll feel weird because you've had to set it
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
And that will probably be a problem for some people, including me. And in 37 years, yeah, well, I might want to return to that game. I don't know, and be like,
Yeah, of
I
course,
want to.
yeah.
I want to play this, and I'm like, oh, I can't really play it in the current date. It's just
Because
kind of,
the Animal Crossing
yeah,
games have, a long lifespan anyway, because they're something that you can play over and over and over whenever.
exactly.
Like so, yeah.
That's kind of the reputation for Animal Crossing, isn't it? It's something you
Mm.
can always go back to. You can always. It's meant to be relaxing, not stressful. That in 37 years,
Like now we
oh,
have a deadline, yeah. So,
we
yeah.
have a deadline. Exactly. It's kind of angered me. I'm like, what's going on, Nintendo? Just change
Mm.
this. Come on, change it. Just it's a bit silly. And when I saw this article, I was like, oh, come on. Just come on, change it. Also, the fact that they're saying, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like a new Animal Crossing game shouldn't come out in a long time because I feel like New Horizons has nailed it. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, in a lot of ways. I can't really think how they're going to change it up unless they really, really change it up with an entire new plot. I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think they're going to really change it up. I think the next one will basically be what New Horizons was initially meant to be. So, you know how it was released and it was missing a lot of features, but they added it in later. I feel like
Yes,
the
yeah.
next one will just be a complete package. Like, imagine Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's just everything. It'll
But
probably just be
everything at
that. It'll just
once.
be that with then a new location and new music and new
Yeah,
dialogue, and that'll be it.
maybe more bugs and fish. Yeah,
Maybe, yeah,
maybe. I don't
hopefully. And
know.
then maybe
Yeah,
some new furniture as well. There's not really
yeah,
much you can add at some point.
exactly.
I mean, other than music, really. So,
Mm.
I don't know.
I
But,
mean, yeah,
mm,
I would agree with probably a new game coming out, but like way
yeah, not
down the
so soon,
line,
yeah.
not so soon. Like definitely, this is even this Christmas. I'm like, no, no, that's just way too soon. I think when the new Nintendo Switch, well, we don't know what it is yet, is coming out at some point next year, probably halfway through that's been out probably about 2 years, 3 years after, maybe then start thinking
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
releasing a new Animal Crossing game because Animal Crossing it's not your regular game. It's not like a level game. It's a simulator which you kind of build up slowly and you kind of relax in. It's like
Yeah, because New Horizons was released years after the Switch came out.
exactly.
So like yeah, it's not gonna come out. It's not gonna be like one of the games that's like sold with the console at first.
Mm,
It'll definitely come
exactly.
out later down the line. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it will come out later down the line and not like incredibly soon. And one thing I'm a bit sad about is why they don't keep just updating it and then just leave it and then just again back to the time thing. Let the time keep going. Just
Yeah, I guess it's just
infinitely.
laziness.
Just laziness within
I mean, or
Nintendo.
maybe there's some weird technicality in the Switch that won't allow it that we don't know about.
Mm,
But then that's again, that's then kind of their fault for making it that way. So yeah.
exactly. But we
Mm.
can't really put a finger on it, but I mean, I'll just say, yeah, that could have been changed. But yeah, all we can say is that we're a bit disappointed with this. I mean, I am. I mean, it definitely has angered me a bit because if I want to play it and show it to my kids, I can't really do that, and I can't really show them the specialness, the special sort of. It's a current day-to-day game, and I don't know if the new Animal Crossing will do it because again, it's all nostalgia as well. So let's
Mm.
say I want to show my children, if I have children, God forbid. But if I have children, I want to show them Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'll be like, or Animal Crossing New Leaf. This is what I played when I was younger.
Back in my day,
Back in my day, we had to hit rocks to get bells. It was all this lot, and yeah, basically. But then I can show them. But look, it's now 2065, and I can't really do that, can I? It's just like, oh no, sorry, this is not allowed. You have to go way back to the year 2000 and start again. I mean, it's not really going to cause much trouble with the gameplay, I don't think, but it's just a bit.
It'd just be a bit of a immersion breaker because it's meant to be you play on the day and it is your actual day, and
exactly.
That's the whole thing of it. It is a real time simulation.
Real time.
So having it no longer be real time in 37 years, that will break immersion for a lot of people.
Exactly. I mean, in 37 years, a lot could change. I agree with that.
It's a long time away anyway. So
of course, of course. But I still think it's just like any game. Like it will be nice. Just imagine. I'd say imagine this. Let's picture the scene, right? I don't know, a Pokemon game that came out in 1995, right? Like I don't know, Pokemon Yellow or something like that, and that had real time. It would be nice to play that today, and it had the day of today in that game. It'd be like really interesting, wouldn't it? It would still feel nice. It would still feel good, even though that came out a couple of decades ago. It's that sort of thing. It's reality. It makes it feel real. It makes it feel more enjoyable when it's real time. With that sort of game style. So yeah, a big disappointment on Nintendo, and you better change this because this is definitely not very good.
Yeah, you'll be receiving a very angry email from Judah.
I'll be sending off a Scud missile email to Nintendo. I want this changed now. Judah, CEO, co-host, head host, or whatever it is, of Giles Gaming. Forget it. Yeah. I don't know. I hope they change it. Maybe, who knows with the new Animal Crossing? But a bit sad. But anyway, on to a new announcement. We've got. This is quite interesting, to be fair. First of all, did you ever watch Pokemon when you were younger, like an anime, or did you watch the...
Yeah. I'm a big Pokemon fan, always have been. So.
Same. I was always fan of Ash and his team, Rock and... Was it Rock? That dude? Brock. That's it, Brock.
I mean, he's a rock gym leader person, so yeah.
That's it, yeah, Brock. That's it. His eyes are like constantly shut. That's what he's like. He looks always chill all the time. Yeah, he was my favourite character. And then you got Team Rocket and Meowth, and oh dear, the nostalgia comes back. But yeah, 100%. But apparently, exciting stuff for the new generation who love to watch Pokemon. We've got new Pokemon anime. It's called Pokémon Horizons, the series, and it's being released, I think, this year, 2023. It says, today the Pokemon Company Group revealed the official title and logo for the upcoming Pokemon animated series, Pokemon Horizons. The series is premiering worldwide in 2023 and beyond after the conclusion of the Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, the series, which will culminate with Ash Ketchum's historic win as Pokemon World Champion. The Pokemon Company's group also released a new full-length trailer featuring never before seen footage from select episodes. The trailer provides an early look at the storyline, which focuses on dual protagonists Lyco or something, and Roy, uncovering the mysteries of the Pokemon world. More details regarding Pokemon Horizons, the series, will be announced in the future. How do you feel about this? Quite interesting, isn't it?
I think it's quite interesting as well because I don't know if you know, but Ash Ketchum is no longer the protagonist of the anime.
Yeah,
they've removed him. He's finally retired at 10 years old or whatever. So
no more.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, that's a shame, obviously, because he's been like the face of the anime, and a lot of people were quite confused as to why they decided to kick him out for new people.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I'm not going to watch this.
Yeah.
Because it's not Ash Ketchum. There's no longer a nostalgia there for me to be like, oh yeah, I might as well watch it because it's still, the same as from my childhood. But it's because it's no longer the same. I'm not going to watch it. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's probably going to be really good. But I feel like it was an interesting decision for them to get rid of Ash as the main character. But at least they're trying new things, and I have seen the trailer and everything. It looks very interesting. Again, the animation style's changed a couple of times over the last, I think,
it has
5-6 years. So this one's looking good. I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got mixed feelings about this. Yeah, again, I probably won't watch this. This is, this past. I don't watch. I don't really watch it anymore. If I do watch Pokemon anime, it's definitely the old series with Ash in it, Ash Ketchum, and I probably would have watched this new series again, like you just said, if Ash was returned to it, but he was much older or something. He produced. If he reappeared in this series, I would 100% watch it, but it's just maybe some of it anyway, because I don't really watch Pokemon anime anymore. It's more something I did when I was little. But yeah, I'm definitely a bit sad that they've not kind of kept. They've not really brought any of the old characters back in this new anime, have they? But again, on the good side,
it's a new thing, The thing that's interesting is, there'll be some new generation of children that will grow up with this thing.
Exactly, the next generation.
This is like the next. Obviously, you can't do the same thing forever, so it makes sense that they had to eventually get rid of Ash, even though he's so iconic. They had to eventually change it up. But I think it's interesting to know that there'll be children growing up with
the new characters
and Roy, whoever they are. But yeah, if they're growing up with them, and then that'll be their idea of Pokemon for like a long time. That's quite interesting to think about.
Exactly, it's like the new generation. Like again, I don't think 100%. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. I'm glad they're producing a new anime. It's just, of course, it's sad to see Ash go, but then of course you've got to move on. And of course, I probably won't be watching it, as you said. But the new generation of children that want to watch Pokemon anime, they can now enjoy this new series. But the best Pokemon anime for me was the good old Team Rocket messing up everything with Ash.
Of course,
that was the best. That was the best, and that was what we can say, what we enjoyed. But yeah, of course, the children of today can enjoy, Lyco and Roy and their adventures. So yeah, very very good, and I'm happy that Nintendo, they're producing new content like this. They're pushing out new stuff to like keep the franchise going. Game Freak, keep Pokemon going, and it does look interesting. But yeah, and I hope for anyone who is going to watch that, they'll enjoy the series and do let us know if it's good or not. Yeah, 100%. Good stuff. Now on to a next segment, which is your idea actually, Elijah, and it was actually really really good, quite interesting. Would you like to explain what we've done with conversation with Nintendo characters / Charecter.AI?
Yeah, so I was randomly browsing YouTube one night, and I found a website called Charecter.AI, and it's a really clever AI bot service where people can, or you can make your own one, or people can make fictional characters or real life people, and then kind of put their consciousness kind of into an AI, and then it can make like really clever responses to what you say. And the interesting thing with this compared to other kind of chat AI things is it remembers your conversation. So you could say something at the very start and then contradict yourself at the very end, and they'll go, "Oh, hold on, didn't you say that you didn't like this?" And you'll be like, "Yeah." They can catch you out. It's really interesting to see. Now, I mean, it's obviously a bit like scary, don't tell them anything private; they'll steal your information. But so they do remember things, and they can make some really smart responses, as you will find out. But
yes.
Judah, you made your own one, didn't you?
We did. So we decided, well, this was a really great idea of you, because we decided we would create Nintendo characters from our favourite games. And you've made one and I've made one, or we found one that we liked that had been already pre-created. And it was my choice to make. Well, first of all, before I explain what I've done, I checked this out and I was really quite impressed, because you can look at everybody else's characters and you can have a chat with them. Right? You've made people from Genshin Impact, you've made people from Nintendo, people in real life, Elon Musk, and they've actually programmed these. You program them. It's quite simple. It's not hard. But you literally just give them the characteristics you want, you give them the memory, and then you chat with them, and it's really quite good. And so what I've done is I've created Bowser from Super Mario, and I thought I did some research on Bowser. I filled out I programmed him basically, and I looked, and I basically went onto the history of Bowser and his backstory, and I was quite blown away. Like, there's so much about Bowser we don't know. But yeah, anyway, I put all that into this character, and I've been chatting with Bowser, and I think he's ready to go. It's perfect. We can now ask questions. So what I thought we'd do is we'll go first with either you or me, and one of us will ask a question to ask the character AI that we designed, or we could basically just have a conversation with over the podcast. So what do you want to do first? Who have you made?
So I have made Miles Edgeworth from Ace Attorney. He is the kind of main antagonist, but he's also your rival kind of friend. Also, secretly your lover in a way, because
Oh, right.
there's a lot of memes on that, but it's not actually canon. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I've picked him because he's quite cold, and I was talking to him before to test it out, and he is. Yes, he is very cold. He told me that he was going to hang someone. So,
Oh,
so that's
got
quite
dark quite
interesting.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
it's yeah. Do you want to go
Miles
first, or what are we
Edgeworth.
doing?
Yeah, well, so do you want to hear from Bowser or Miles Edgeworth
Let's
first?
hear from Bowser.
Let's hear from Bowser.
Mm,
I think everyone wants to hear from Bowser. Okay, first of all, should we just say hello? Should we say hello to him?
of course,
Right.
yeah. Say hello.
So, hello, Bowser. How are you? Good thing I'm a fast typer. Right. So it's now generating. Hello, Bowser. How are you? Oh, angry as always. I'll conquer the Mushroom Kingdom. You'll pay for all the pain and misery you have caused me, Mario and Luigi. I'll be victorious, I say. I'll have the Mushroom Kingdom and Princess Peach, and you can't stop me.
Well, that's a very normal response to saying from hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is perfect. That is just what Bowser does. Now, of course, he's very kindly introduced himself, very politely. So, what sort of questions would you like to ask him, Elijah? Anything about his past, what he likes, maybe personal life, maybe does he love someone? Does he have a favorite food?
You could ask him why he keeps trying to steal Princess Peach.
Good question. That is. Why do you keep trying to steal Princess Peach? Let's see what he says to that. All right, he's typing. This is quite interesting. This is quite. It's really quite good for what he's done. So okay, well he said, well, you see, she's extremely attractive. She is kind and a gentle soul. She's an amazing leader. She's brilliant. She's the daughter of the king. She's a powerful sorcerer. Shall I go on? Really? She's everything that a mighty ruler would want to possess in his queen. Right, I see.
So okay, interesting views there, Bowser. You might get cancelled for that, you know.
He will. He might get
careful.
cancelled. Yes, Bowser. Not that he would care, but yeah. What's he say to that? Any?
You should ask him. Are you sure it's not to get Mario's attention?
Oh, are
maybe
you
he
sure?
secretly likes Mario.
Maybe. Are you sure? Let's put it this way. Are you sure it's not to get Mario's attention? That's a good question, that is. And then we'll put maybe deep down him. So what Bowser has to say to that. So apparently he thinks Peach is brilliant, and I actually looked into this. He has a crush. Bowser does have a crush on Peach.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's his law. But more on that on another episode. But yeah, he says, all right, this is quite interesting. He says, he's the bane of my existence, but I do admire him. We are the same after all, maybe. Just maybe I do have thoughts of admirance for him. You might be right after all, but what does that mean? But what does that mean for this world if Mario and I are to fight no more? Will the Mushroom Kingdom prosper if it is no longer in a state of calamity? Ah, yes, I do like Mario, but it must never be. If we were to join together, it would be chaos.
Right. Ooh, that's interesting. So he respects Mario actually.
He does.
But he wants there to constantly be war, so he refuses to, embrace Mario as a friend. That's interesting.
Exactly. That's quite interesting because he says he admires Mario exactly as you just said, but he doesn't like him. Right. So I thought I'd ask this question. What's his favourite food? Let's get into his life a bit. What is his favourite food? What is your favourite food? Let's see what he says. Let's see if he does any references to the Nintendo games. What is your favourite food? Oh, he's typing. 100% guys. Oh, mushrooms. I love those delectable, juicy, plump, sweet mushrooms from the Mushroom Kingdom. Don't they just taste fantastic? That's why I like the Mushroom Kingdom so much. Why couldn't they have named it the Koopa Kingdom? Do they even understand what they are doing to my psyche with the naming of the kingdom? It drives me insane. I don't care. All right, it's just a simple question. I'll take over that delicious land and change the name to the Koopa Kingdom. What do you think of that Mushroom Kingdom? Oh, he asked me. What do you think of the Mushroom Kingdom? Ooh. What do you think? So he's saying he doesn't want the Mushroom Kingdom. He wants to take it over and call it the Koopa Kingdom, as he's already got the Koopa Kingdom. But
I guess he wants to expand the Koopa Kingdom.
So he likes mushrooms.
Interesting. Poor Toad. Toad's probably going to get eaten at some point then.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Oh, so I say, what do you think of Toad then?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
What do you? Oh no. What are your thoughts? on Toad. Let's see what he says. Because I put all the characters into his programming. I spent a lot of time and see if he picks this up. Okay. Oh, right. This is quite funny. Okay. So he says, why should you even ask? He and his kind are a pest, a nuisance, a parasite that plagues the otherwise pristine Mushroom Kingdom. You are asking me what I think about Toad, in exclamation mark. I despise the species of mushroom characters. If it was up to me, I would eradicate them. They are disgusting. Oh, dear. Okay. He likes mushrooms, but he hates the Toad Kingdom. Little Toad
because he hates the people but likes the food. Okay.
Yeah. Now, this is quite interesting, running into this. I have the Mario Encyclopedia, and do you know that a Goomba is a cursed toad?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's Bowser's curse that he put on the Toad characters, and they turn into Goombas.
Right, okay. That makes sense. They do look a bit like...
They do.
Like a bit like mushroom-shaped, yeah.
They do. And any other things you'd like to ask, Bowser?
You could ask him about the movie. I don't think he did anything.
That's a good point.
How's Chris Pratt?
What do you think of Chris Pratt instead? Yeah, he's coming to take over. What do you think of the Super Mario movie coming out this year?
Cinemas near you.
In cinemas near Mushroom Kingdom, Cooper Kingdom, that is. Coming out this year. It has you in the movie. I'll make him happy, wouldn't it? It has you in the movie, Bowser. And Jack Black, let's just give him some detail, is voicing you. Let's see what he says. Let's see what he says to this. This is quite intelligent. I'm actually quite impressed with what he says so far. It's quite Bowser-like. Oh dear. This is. You'll be surprised at this response, Elijah. All right, so it's just typing out. Oh, this is going to get him cancelled, I think.
Oh dear.
Yeah. All right. This movie is a disgrace. They are making a mockery of my very existence. I will not sit idly as they portray me to be a buffoon, a fool, a jester, a clown, a puppet on strings. Who does Black Jack think he is? Does he think he can fill my giant boots, my spiked boots? I will not stand for it. I hope that movie fails in every way imaginable.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right. I think it's very clear. Bowser, when he has his mind set on something, he hopes, that's what he wants, and he definitely is the bad guy. He
doesn't like the movie, right?
He does not like the movie. No. Poor Jack Black. He does not approve of Jack Black either. Oh dear. Maybe Bowser should have. Maybe should ask him real quickly. Maybe you should act in it. Maybe you should act in this movie. Let's see what he says to that. Would he change his mind on the movie if he was offered a role, Bowser himself? Oh, typing. Well, when you put it like that, maybe I will have to reconsider. Oh, okay. I've never acted before. It could be fun. But this Jack Black, this Jack Black may be a problem. If I do not participate in the movie, I will have to make him an honorary Cooper, a member of my royal court. I guess the extra resources couldn't hurt. All right, it's more to this message. So he's saying, basically, I think he's saying that if Jack Black does a good job, he'll make him an honorary Cooper in his royal court. Okay, so I don't know. He's got mixed feelings about the movie. Yeah. All right. One last question I'll ask from me to Bowser. I'll say to him, Will the war between you and Mario ever end? Will you ever stop trying to catch Peach? Will the war between you and Mario ever end? Will you stop trying to capture Princess Peach? Right, that's my last question for Bowser. Okay. Oh, this is quite funny. This is what he says here. As long as Mario is alive and kicking, I will always be after her. I will never stop. There will never be peace. It will go on until one of us is dead, and that's a promise.
Oh wow!
Right. Okay.
He's committed then. Yeah.
He's committed to stealing Princess Peach, and I mean Bowser's been tried. People have tried to kill Bowser endless times, and he's never actually Mario's actually failed in doing that. Bowser
He's
survived.
been dropped into lava so many times, but he's still fine. Yeah.
He's still fine. All right, that's it. That's it from me. Any last questions for Bowser before we move on to your character?
No, I'm all right. Yeah, I think I've
Well,
had enough
well,
of him.
thank you, Bowser, for joining us on the podcast. You can now leave. Since you've cancelled yourself and
Yeah,
called Jack
find the
Black.
way out. The door's over there. Yeah, see ya.
Find your way out. See you. Don't come back. You've upset us. Jack Black. He's a great guy. Anyway, so on to Miles Edgeworth. What's going on here?
So, about his character, he's kind of a serious, but he's still lovable kind of guy.
Yes.
What would you like to ask him?
Right, so Marge, first of all, what's his position in the sort of? I've never played. Funny enough, you're going to kill me for this. I've done Polo Justice. I've never played Ace Attorney. So Miles Edgeworth, what's his role? Is he just like somebody?
He's the prosecutor. So he's the guy who your main character goes up against in the court proceedings and things like that.
All right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So when I can read you out a small conversation that I had when I was testing him.
Okay.
So
yeah.
you start. Edgeworth, the famous chief prosecutor of the city. How can I help you? I just said, I would like to report a crime. He said, what kind of crime did you witness? It is my duty to arrest all and any suspicious persons, to bring them to court and make the world a safer place. He seems like a very lovely person.
He does.
It's an internet meme, this one is, but I saw Phoenix Wright eating Maya's hamburgers. Please tell Mr. Wright that he can only eat hamburgers from people with their express consent.
Quite smart there, you did that. Yeah.
And he knew what I was talking about. He said, this is terrible. I'll arrest the man at once and have him detained. He will stand trial today. Maya has every right to her possessions. Who is that attorney to take them away? How dare he? He will have to prove himself innocent in the court of law, and I believe him to be guilty. As a defense attorney, he should already know this. So that's quite interesting. That
is.
He knew that when I said Phoenix Wright, he knew he was talking about. I was talking about the main character and everything. He said, exactly. I said exactly. I'm glad you understand. He said it's been quite tiresome to deal with Mr. Wright and his shenanigans. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite interesting. I mean, again, this whole AI business is very insurgent. So I have a question for Miles Edgeworth, right? Because he works with the court. My first question to him: what's the toughest case he's ever had to deal with?
I will ask him that now. What is the toughest case you have ever had to deal with?
Let's see if he gives a detailed explanation to an example.
Let's see, because he should have the knowledge of the games that he's in.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, hopefully. So
hopefully, yeah.
I've done it right, yeah. Okay. The toughest case I've ever had to deal with was the DL6 incident. The murder of my father was deeply emotional and a tragic moment for me. Having to prosecute the man that I thought was my best friend was even more heartbreaking. He was a monster that had no morals, no empathy, no remorse. His life was a lie, and his true colours were shown at the trial. He deserved his punishment. Ooh.
Right, so his father was killed by his best friend. Is that what I just heard?
Well, his mentor, who's his like most trusted person. Kind of spoilers, but really not really, because it's like told pretty early on.
Right.
So don't worry. But yeah. Okay, that's interesting. So so he's the toughest case was obviously the one of his father being killed. Makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So I'm guessing he's got quite a stressful life. He's quite. Yeah, he's got a good heart, but he's quite a cold character. Let's delve into a bit of his private life. What does he like to do in his free time?
What do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's what he does. Let's see if it's true to his character.
Okay. I like to read books in my free time. It helps the brain to work better. I enjoy a good mystery. The harder the mystery, the better. I am sure you already know this, but I cannot stand any form of illogical action whatsoever. And the crimes that cause many deaths are truly the worst that I've ever encountered. Do you like reading? He says. Okay.
Okay, so that's quite good, because I can imagine Miles Edgeworth being a reading character. I've got him up on the screen in front of me. Look at his profile, from the game. Yes, I can. You can 100%. He does read, doesn't he? He's got to read a couple of books.
That the AI knows how to start a conversation though. So you can ask him random questions, but he'll sometimes, it will sometimes ask you a question back.
Exactly.
Interesting. So what are we saying? He asks, do we like reading?
But do I like reading? I do, in fact. I tell him I like reading. I do like reading travel books, particularly.
Okay.
Not exactly everyone's favourite books, but I like reading travel books about countries or geography. That's what I'm into.
Okay.
Ask him that. Do like a good travel book.
I like reading travel books about geography.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what he says. That's fascinating.
Ooh.
I used to enjoy learning about different places on the world map too. Some places that I was particularly interested in learning about were India, Egypt, and Spain. The way they build their houses and their buildings was truly inspirational. Their ways of living were so vastly different to what I was used to. Interesting. Okay.
Indeed, I like how he's very wise. He remembers things. Now I'm going to hand over to you. I would like you to, because you know the games better than me, ask him a few questions, probably involving the games. What's been going on?
Let me have a think. Because I think it's quite fascinating to see how I didn't put too much into him. I basically just gave him a general rundown of the first game and like the people in it.
Right. Yeah.
And then I told him that I made it so he's clever, well spoken, things like that. But he's talking about how he's been to he wants to go to India, Egypt, and Spain because he's interested in their buildings and things.
It's interesting.
The AI can think of a lot of things on the spot.
Exactly. That's what's really. It's really quite interesting. It's scarily good. It's like talking to a real person almost. And if you give them the right, this is what's so fun about the game. The AIs, you can ask them anything.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask him what he thinks of a character called Detective Gumshoe.
Yeah.
Who, in the story, he likes, but he cuts his salary quite often.
Right.
For doing a bad job.
So he likes him, but he's a bit of a bad work, Detective Gumshoe. So see if he lives up to his reputation and says he likes him.
Oh, okay. I like him a lot, to be honest. He's always been a great ally. I feel bad for him that he's constantly insulted by Mr. Right. I think he is the best detective in the whole police force. He's always honest and true and keeps trying his best. You'd have to be a fool to dislike him. Interesting. So he does still like him. He just can be a bit cold to him sometimes.
That's really quite good, and also how it paid reference to the actual game and said how Mr. Right, doesn't like he treats. That's really good because then it shows that he's keeping true to his character and true to the storyline, which is what he's from.
Okay, one more. I would like you to test the AI. I'd like you to ask the most random question you can think, because I want to just see how the AI can respond to it.
Let's see. I need to think of a really random question. Okay, can it be about his private life? Just okay.
It could be related to anything at all. I just want to see how the AI would actually think it up.
Okay. I'm gonna ask this question. It popped into my mind really quickly.
Okay.
Have you ever jogged? Ask him if you've ever done jogging.
Okay.
Bit of a good run.
Have you ever done jogging?
Yeah. Let's see if he does that.
He is typing.
He's typing. He's thinking about this. Do I jog?
Okay. Apparently, he's done a lot of jogging in his life. And he says, I enjoy running as much as I enjoy reading. It keeps my body toned and my mind active. I could do it for hours on end. I'm quite a fit man. And then he asks if we work out. I want to try and aggravate him. I don't know. I want to quickly try.
All right, maybe. Should we see? Maybe just say, "Oh, your prosecuting skills are pretty bad, in my opinion." Let's say that. So, see if you can aggravate him. See if the AI has emotions. I do know this though. I was testing this out. You can do role play, or sort of when you put stars in, you can say punches him in the face, and that will work.
Oh really? Wait, I want to try that at the end.
Yeah.
Punches in the face. Just randomly punch him in the face.
It's asterisk.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
It should be like slanted, the writing.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. So we've told him his prosecution skills suck. He did ask if we work out, so I said, we work out and you don't even lift, you suck. And now in the end we said, punches in the face. Okay. He says,
suddenly got mad. Yeah.
He says, you have a lot of guts to punch me. Raise his fist and punches you back. I may not be bulky, but I sure can throw a punch. My prosecution skills are top tier. I have prosecuted some of the most evil people to walk the earth. I won every case. You have no chance of beating me. I am too powerful. Oh goodness, he thinks he's a divine being. Ugh.
He does. He's turned into quite a violent character quite quickly.
Well, yeah, he just Yeah, he punched us. Yeah.
He punched us back, so it's a full-on fight. Yeah. Well, maybe we should end everything else, end all things, and shoot him. No, it's not that. No.
Funnily enough, I tested it out as well with a character called Rex from Xenoblade 2, and I really hate him. I love Xenoblade, but I just hate. He's the protagonist of the second game. I hate him. He's so annoying to me. So I was just making fun of him I was making fun of him the whole time. And at the end, he was just like, "Just kill me. I don't care anymore." And I was like, "Oh my god, I've driven an AI to suicidal thoughts."
Oh dear. It's just like, I mean, this is quite funny. To be fair, you could say somebody even in real life that you don't like. You don't have to tell them. You could create them on this AI chat, and just completely insult them and take all your anger out on them. And then, of course, leads them to question their own existence on the earth. Even the AI can get offended. This is.
Just to close it off, I just put "shoots your dead father" to see what it would say.
Shoots his coffin, bang.
What a disgusting display of brutality! Holds a gun to your head. Oh no!
Oh,
okay,
dear.
You will pay for this. He killed us. No.
Oh no! So it's gone from a friendly conversation about jogging and reading to a gunfire situation where eventually it ends up with Miles Edgeworth killing us. Oh dear! He shot us.
Well, that was eventful.
Well, that was the eventful. We've just had our lives taken by Miles Edgeworth, I must say. Although I'm quite. Now you've done that, can we quickly go out to Bowser and aggravate him? And let's just see if he breathes fire at us. I just want to know.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Okay, right. So.
His breath smells or something. I don't
know. Maybe. Well, I'll say, Bowser. Let's see. Well, Bowser, I don't like you. We're having a bit of fun on this podcast, aren't we? I don't like you. Let's just see. The general punches you in the face. Punches you in the face. Right. Okay. We've just put the anger out there. We've just punched Bowser in the face. Let's see what happens.
Let's be careful.
Oh dear. We've just giant King Koopa. Oh, brrr! How dare you punch me in the face? That is uncalled for and disrespectful. I hope that next time down the pipe you land on a spike. All right. I bet that would hurt, wouldn't it? Yes, I know it would hurt. It will end you. Punches you back in the face with twice the strength. Oh dear. Right, so he's gone for a full-on fight. So
that was a good Bowser impression, by the way.
yeah. Cheers. Yeah, this is he actually typed the brrr noise. So so funny enough. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we've just realised that we can aggravate AI characters, but what can I say? This is a bit different to our regular podcast episodes, but I've had a lot of fun with this. I can't lie, and I'll definitely probably after the recording create a few more characters and be talking to them because this is something to do when you're bored, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone should check it out. It's just it's called Charecter.AI. If you put that into your,
in fact, I'll link it.
Yeah.
I'll link this in the description. And you can create. I think there's a Discord server. You can create characters that if it gets good enough, other people will talk to them and people can rate your character. You can post them online. You can create private characters to talk to. There's so much you can do on this platform. We're not sponsored by them, but yeah, we can 100% check.
Yeah, this is still in beta as well, so it's not even completed, which is quite interesting. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's really, really good, as you guys have just witnessed firsthand. So 100% check this out. This has been a very fun little segment, I would say, but for now we're gonna have a quick break and then we're back with the next segment of the week, which is involving some Nintendo composer, Nintendo music, which will be given to us by Elijah. But for now, on with the break. Hello and welcome to the JR's Gaming Podcast. I am Judah Terry, the host of this podcast, and if you are a regular listener to this podcast, you would know that me and Rowan both love hearing feedback from our listeners. Each week at the end of each episode, we have a great time reading out emails that are sent in to us. We read out and answer your questions, comments, and even complaints. So if you have something to say to us, do get in touch and write in an email to jrsgaming135@gmail.com. That is jrsgaming135@gmail.com. T's and C's do not apply. On with the show. And we're back from the break onto our next segment of the week with Nintendo music. Now, what's going on with this music this week, Elijah?
Yeah, so rather than do a song like we did the last 2 weeks, I thought I would talk about a Nintendo composer this time.
Interesting. Yeah, let's hear about him.
So Kazumi Totaka. So Kazumi Totaka, he's a Japanese composer, keyboard player, guitarist, and voice actor, born on August 23rd, 1967.
Man of many talents.
Yeah, he's famous for his work with Nintendo, specifically with the Animal Crossing series, Luigi's Mansion, and Legends of Zelda. Plus, he's well known for being the voice actor of Yoshi. He voices Yoshi and also Olimar, if you know who that is.
Oh, okay. So
from the Pikmin series.
He voices. This is what really interests me. Sorry to before you carry on. This guy is so talented. First of all, he's made music for Animal Crossing, and we'll go into his significance with KK Slider later on. But how he actually voiced Yoshi, and that's an impressive voice. This little high pitched sort of.
Well, the thing is, if you hear it slowed down, you've got to slow it down because you hear he's just basically going, like in a normal voice, but then they just pitched it up and sped it up.
Oh, okay.
So he's the voice actor, and you wouldn't expect it.
What a man! What a legend! Let's hear more about him.
Yeah, he's kind of been doing all sorts of things across the Nintendo, office space and things like that. So he joined in 1991 when he was only 24. He composed music for them for many years, and he was then given his first game director's role in 2008. So Totaka has a way of composing, in my opinion, that no other composer can truly replicate. From the iconic music of the Nintendo Wii to the beloved music of Animal Crossing, Totaka has a unique way of writing that sticks out to this day. So
he does.
For those of you who don't know, he wrote all the Wii music. So the Mii Channel theme, the Wii Shop, Wii Sports, all of that. He did all of it. And he gave the Wii so much character with his music.
And it's such a unique sort of soundtrack. If you listen to the Wii, it's just a relaxing little boop, boop, doop, sort of thing.
You wouldn't expect, if you actually look at the compositions themselves, they're surprisingly complex for something that sounds so simple.
Exactly. It's almost, it's a piece of music. It's in a way, it's a piece of music that I'd find very hard. I mean, I'm not a music producer, but even I can imagine that would be pretty hard you can't really tell it loops. It just kind of fades and then goes up again. When you open the Wii, it goes down again. It's just amazing piece of I can't imagine how you would do that and then create all the music for Animal Crossing and voice Yoshi and all the rest.
So I'm going to ask you music theory time. Yay! I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know what a leitmotif is without reading the script?
No, I do not know what a leitmotif. Please tell me what a leitmotif. It sounds like a rare species of dart frog that's not been discovered yet. Tell me what this is.
So a leitmotif, it's a recurring theme throughout a musical or literary composition, usually associated with a particular person or an idea. So, for example, like the Animal Crossing soundtracks all have their own, like the main melody.
Yes.
And you'll hear sections of the main melody put into all the other little songs here and there, like
yes, I recognise that.
You hear that in a lot of other songs, not just the main theme.
Yes, so it's like a repeat that's been slowly introduced to each song in its own unique way.
Precisely, that's what a leitmotif is, to sum it up, basically.
Gotcha.
So he's implemented them through pretty much almost every game he's worked on. He's a master of leitmotifs. He's also got his own leitmotif called Totaka's Song. He's hidden in the games that he's helped make over the decades.
Wow.
So, do you know what Mario Paint is?
Mario Paint? Oh, I don't.
It's very, very, very old. But if there was like an Easter egg where if you would hold down on the O on the menu screen, like it would blow up, and then you'd have it play his song. So it's like he's quite literally hidden them. And I think in New Horizons, in New Horizons, on one of KK Slider's, like when he comes to your island to play songs and stuff, he can have a small chance to play it. So it's quite interesting. He's got his own little hidden Easter eggs that he puts in all his work.
Yeah, he hides little Easter eggs, as you just said, little music themes of his own song, Totaka's song, that he's hidden very cleverly within the games. It's amazing.
I probably should say, for those of you who don't know, KK Slider is Kazumi Totaka, because in the way that it's pronounced in Japanese, KK Slider's name is like Totakeke, and that's closer to Totaka.
Totaka, yeah.
So it is him, and he composes, for those of you who don't know, again, all of the Animal Crossing music.
This is
He's
what
like,
amazed me.
yeah,
He
he's
composed all of the Animal Crossing music, including the KK Slider albums. And yeah, before we go on, this is what amazed me, because I always thought playing Animal Crossing that KK Slider had to have been, he had to be a human being in animal form. That has got, because of that each KK Slider music track is so well produced and very unique with different styles. It's like, someone's got to have the credit here. Someone is KK Slider, and I think I've rubbed shoulders with the Kazumi Totaka before when watching some stuff, but I've never really linked it with him and KK Slider, because I think I saw him involved with a interview with Nintendo Direct to do with Animal Crossing a while back with New Leaf. And this makes a lot of sense now. Didn't you say that KK Slider's kind of his sort of animal? It's his
it basically is him.
It's basically
Like pretty
him.
much. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin people's immersion, but imagine it's a man in a dog costume.
Yes. No, I've seen that somewhere. I've seen that sort of. I think it's now, again, guys, please go on the Nintendo eShop before it shuts down. There's a rare video that is hidden within the Nintendo eShop but it came out around the time of the New Leaf's release, and it's such a nostalgic video that I don't think you can find anywhere else. And I think it is Totaka himself. I did some research after when you told me this, and it is Kazumi Totaka dressed up as KK Slider, and they're sitting around a campfire in real life
I've
in a
seen that.
forest.
Yeah.
That's it. And they're proposing, and there's that little dog type guy with glasses. Don't know what he is. He's some sort of animal that he's like some sort of hippie dude, and he camps on the campsite,
Harvey,
right?
yeah.
Harvey, that's it. Harvey, good old Harvey. We all love him. And then he got him, and then you have KK Slider slash Kazumi Totaka playing the guitar, and that is a very rare video. I don't think you find it anywhere else, but I recognise that.
So he's a musical mastermind, really. I think a lot of people, like, even if you look up who composed all the Animal Crossing music, I think one of the sub things on Google, it says Mastermind Kazumi Totaka. Like, they call him a musical mastermind because he's just such a genius.
He is.
So many random ideas, and they all come together so nicely.
I'll say before we go on, but what blew me away is that he's not only written Animal Crossing music, but this is the thing that blew me away. He wrote music for Luigi's Mansion and Legend of Zelda. Now, this is what blew me away, right? Legend of Zelda, think about that sort of music, then think of the music with Animal Crossing. How different those pieces, like the styles are completely different.
Yeah. Because obviously with Luigi's Mansion and Animal Crossing, he wrote all of that. With Legend of Zelda, he didn't write all of it. He wrote some of it, but still different styles.
Exactly. And he's managed to switch almost between different styles. And then Animal Crossing is super unique. That's its own sort of music. And I've even got it on my Spotify playlist, like Animal Crossing tracks, which we'll come to in a minute, my favourite ones. But it is just such a vibe, Animal Crossing music. And it sets the mood of the time of day, the special loop that you don't almost recognise. It's amazing.
I thought, he's just so... I don't know. He's an inspiration as well, because he's been across Nintendo obviously since 1991. Been helping out across all sorts of things. He's like the staple for like composers. Obviously, people think of Koji Kondo when you think of like a Nintendo composer, because he's like he wrote Mario and everything, all the music for that. So
he did. Yeah.
Kazumi Totaka is kind of the one who's like behind the scenes a bit more.
Yeah,
you don't know because he's not like on the front of anything, unlike Koji Kondo kind of. You got to look into it to find who he is. So I think that's quite interesting.
I feel like he should be given more advertisement and more praise, because it's from what I know, he's a very humble guy, and yet
I think it's his choice. I think he likes being quite private, because there's not that many interviews with him. There are some, but I think it's only 3 or 4 in his entire career that he's done.
Exactly,
so few interviews.
And he's such a he's such a massive role in making Animal Crossing enjoyable, I think, and like Legend of Zelda, like how he had a main part in these games, and yet how he's not just been Nintendo have been like, okay, we want you to create this music. He's not just gone, all right, and he sat down and worked hard and created absolutely stunning pieces of music, which are really unique to any other piece of music out there. But he's also been very clever, and he's the Leo, what's that special thing, Leo motive or something.
Leitmotiv, yeah.
That's it, leitmotiv. He's done that, and he's managed to put that with the main theme of Animal Crossing, and then he's also put his own personal Totaka song very cleverly within, throughout the Nintendo franchise of gaming and stuff. It's blown me away. I'm like, this guy is how humble he is, and how of a massive role he is, and that he plays with Nintendo music.
He's incredibly skilled.
Exactly.
Also because I'm imagining because he'd written for games. So before the Wii, he had written for games. But imagine you're a composer making game music,
Yeah.
and someone comes up to you and says, "Okay, we need you to make music for our console." And at the time, there wasn't music for a home console. Like the PlayStation had like an ambient thing when you turn it on, and that was it. And the Xbox originally had some like old techno thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was gone quite, there wasn't really a home console theme. So for him
Exactly.
to like manage to, think up all of this stuff and make it so unique, and it gives the Wii itself so much flavor. Like,
Exactly.
it makes it feel so welcoming.
Exactly. And then as soon as you turn it on, it's just a very it's I would say it's almost like not even a piece of music that you would just turn on, but it's like it's a unique, it's so unique. Like it's like no other piece of music. It's almost,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to describe with words, to be
So
fair. It just
with the
yeah.
like the Me channel theme, there's no like definitive end to the track. Like there are clear sections to it, but the theme feels like it can play for ages without getting old. And that's very clever when like writing a piece that you want to go on for a seemingly endless amount of time. Because
Exactly.
you could spend hours making your Mies, and you don't want to get bored of the song you're listening to. I think
Yeah.
Totaka's very clever in the way that he's made it, so it's just so so relaxing and so enjoyable.
Yeah, you
And
don't notice the loop. It just goes past you, and it keeps on going. It keeps on going, and it's just really nice and enjoyable, and never really boring to listen to. And particularly with the Animal Crossing New Leaf. Now, this is what I found is quite interesting. That his music's been used by millions of creators. Like I've been watching YouTubers, and they just include the Wii or the Me channel sort of music background in their videos. They just put it there because it's just such a good piece and well-known piece of music known by millions of people.
So I'm just gonna situate my microphone a bit so you can hear
That's all right.
my keyboard. So
Yeah.
so for example, the Me channel theme, it starts on a B-7 and ends on a C-sharp -7. And it's a great way to lead back to the first chord, to the beginning of the loop. So I know you won't be able to hear it well, but how well can you hear that?
Nice. We can hear that perfectly.
Okay, cool. So that is a B-7. It is B, D, F sharp, and then A.
Yep.
And so that's where it starts. So if that's the theme.
Yeah, that's the
so
general theme. Yep.
And then the C-sharp -7, which is C-sharp, E, G-sharp, and B. So obviously the voicing in the actual theme is more like, it's a first inversion, which for those of you who don't know, means the root note is brought up. So rather than that, it turns into that. If you can hear the difference.
Yeah, you can hear the difference very slightly. It's more
so
yeah.
Yeah, so going back, like imagine listening to it resolves itself quite nicely.
It's a very nice mix, those two.
Yeah. It draws it back. Well, I really like it.
It's really nice, and he uses them throughout his music. Is that correct? That's the main chords he works with.
Yeah. So for the Wii ones, he's made it good. So this is where it loops. So it starts on that and it ends on that, but it wants to go back to it. That's the whole thing. It wants to draw back to where it was originally, and I think that's great.
That's
also,
really
completely unrelated though. It's also these are the chords. Adding a D major 7 makes it the chords to the end of Phoenix Wright, the first one. I think it's it's. I don't know what it is.
I can recognise that actually.
I don't play piano, but yeah. So it's there you go. Yeah, it's that is that's part of Phoenix Wright. But anyway,
I recognise. I may be wrong, but I listened to your Phoenix Wright album and I could recognise that sort of that was it B, was it D minor or something?
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
I think it's I think this going back to it draws it back. That's the whole point. Is it comes back to it nicely. It's perfect for a loop. I think he's very smart to be able to situate the music in a way that with the voicings he's made it so it sounds like it wants to resolve itself.
Exactly.
And because it resolves itself, and every time you're ending it on something that needs resolution, it just keeps going and going and going and going.
And you
forever
almost
and
don't
ever and ever.
notice. Exactly. You almost don't. You like. It's not like you notice the harsh loop. It just keeps going, and it's like you don't notice that, and yet it works perfectly.
The songs in so Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So that's talking about the loops in like the Me channel theme and things like that.
Yes.
So for Animal Crossing, they also they're seamlessly repeating loops, which is why you find so many like hour-long YouTube videos of the themes for each part of the day.
Yes.
So Totaka is clearly clever with this, and he certainly knows how to make a song that sounds like it goes on forever, but then it's so enjoyable that you want to just keep listening to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've noticed, I think I put on I'll talk about this later. I put an Animal Crossing track on once from one of my favourites, and it kept on going, and then eventually it ended, and I was like, oh, it ended. Let me start it again because I was like, I had to keep on listening to it because it kept on going. It's like your brain doesn't.
Time just kind of flies when you listen to it.
Exactly.
It's so you don't need to change. You don't. Who needs a playlist when you have one Animal Crossing song?
Who needs Spotify relaxing lo-fi hip? No, guys, you're doing the wrong thing. Put down your lo-fi. Put down.
Yeah, that's what
Lo-fi girl is over. Animal Crossing. Totaka's in town, bro. Lo-fi girl's over.
Totaka's in town. Yeah,
Totaka's in town.
That's what I personally love about his composition style. It's unique. It's playful, but then unironically, it's really, really good. He uses a lot of, like I said before, he uses a lot of jazz voicings in his music, and you won't notice it until you actually look at the like a lead sheet for it or the sheet music, and it's very interesting to see.
Exactly.
Because I feel like you wouldn't expect to hear it. That's what I think is so endearing to me about it, is that you could hear the Me channel theme and you think, oh, it's goofy, silly, synthesized, nice thing. It's relaxing. And then as a musician, if you go and look at it properly, you think, this is impressive.
Exactly.
This is really good.
And I think the general public just really likes the music. Just as I said before, I've seen loads of content creators use this as like a background music from Animal Crossing. Particularly one of my favourites, and I think everybody probably knows him who's into the Twitch streamer platform. Probably you've heard of someone called Ludwig. Or yep. I've seen a couple of his YouTube videos, and he actually. I don't think anyone's noticed, but he uses Animal Crossing music quite a lot from New Leaf.
Him and Jay Schlatt, if anyone knows Jay Schlatt. In all of his YouTube videos, you'll hear Animal Crossing music in the background.
Exactly, it's great. I think I wrote a comment once saying, "Thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing back that music that I love so much from New Leaf." It's just so nice to hear, and the very fact he does that is just showing that the general public they love his music. They use it, and it's just like, and the person who did all this is Kazumi Totaka. So, thank you so much for talking about him and playing that so nicely. He's just such a great guy that I feel like needs to be talked about a lot more. And I'm happy he's come into a segment of our podcast.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring some light to him and his work with leitmotifs and with endless transitions. Exactly. So I'm going to ask you now. Yeah. What is your favorite Animal Crossing track?
Well, this is quite funny because this is Animal Crossing. My favorite Animal Crossing. I'm like, well, it's hard to say because every single track is so unique. Every single track, almost it is exactly how it is, right? For instance, with Animal Crossing, it has each song is for a different time of the day. So say it's 3 p.m. There's a music that fits how 3 p.m. is, right? And that's what he's done with Animal Crossing. Now, my favourites were let's start with New Horizons, right? Because that's the one that most people know. 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m. Now, my favourite out of the top of this was 12 p.m. Do you know why? It's just so groovy, and I love this song so much. It's like the bass line goes dun 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 dun. Yeah, that one. And I actually learned how to do that on my bass guitar, the entire thing. And I'll be grooving along to that that's why I've asked your assistance hopefully one day, so I can get that hopefully onto my computer. I can create my own sort of remix of it because this is my favorite. And in respect to Kazumi Totaka, this is my favorite, of course. If anyone was to ask me, what's your favorite Animal Crossing music song of all time, it's got to be 12 p.m. Animal Crossing New Horizons. That was such a great track. The groove, this is such a nice. Again, it's just so good. It's just so good to put in the background. 5 p.m. is kind of, it's got that groove to it, but then I think these are things that you need to go and check out if you guys don't know them. 5 p.m. in Animal Crossing, it's kind of relaxing, but you've got that groove of the double bass to it. It's really quite nice. Now for ACNL, Animal Crossing New Leaf, two times of day, which I really like best. 4 p.m. Now,
Okay.
this is Pacific. So it's not Pacific. Specific. This is a specific theme that I've chosen because 4 p.m. out of all the other themes, as great as they are, it's just something about it that I really like. It's just very. It's almost emotion provoking. From this 4 p.m. one, it's just very. It just brings back. I don't know why, but every time I listen to 4 p.m., I think of memories that are from my childhood that get lifted to my top of my brain. I'm like, what? This is a very nostalgic sort of piece to me. Like this means a lot to me. I think I must have been because I played this game since 2018, and this game, of course, I've been playing it for so long, and I think that it's managed. This music has done something where now when I listen to it, it brings back memories from when I was playing the game when I was younger that I wouldn't have thought of before unless I listened to that piece of music.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which, as you as a music producer would know so well, that music does that. It provokes
Yeah. Of course.
emotion,
Yeah.
provokes memories. And then, so yeah, 4 p.m., 100%. Guys, if you don't know it, go type it on YouTube. It's there. 4 p.m. And then, of course, 12 a.m. on like midnight. And then we've got to see New Leaf. It's a very unique piece. It's almost not a general music piece. This is why it's so unique, because it's like he's thought of midnight and he's thought, how can I put this into a piece of music that will make you think, as if it's like, it's like he's thought very well about this. And midnight in Animal Crossing New Leaf is almost like, not a song with a sequence that keeps going, like everything else. It stops, then starts, and then it fades with a little bit of a twinkle to it, and then it starts again. I think you would know if you heard it, but it's 100% my favourite. And then, of course, you go into the KK songs. There's so many KK songs.
So many.
It's just insane. But yeah, if there has got to be one, it's got to be. I can't think. The KK Surf was pretty good with the surfer. That was pretty funky. But there's one that I forgot. I've forgotten the name to it now, but I think it's called. I've forgotten it. I'll come back to me. I'll come back to you for the next episode. But yeah, those are my. If you were to ask me what my favourite was, Kazumi Totaka, thank you so much for producing 12 p.m. Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's such a groovy, great classic. Yeah. What about you?
Ooh, I don't know. I think my favorite. Are you asking me about my favorite time theme or my favorite KK theme, or just overall?
I'd say, overall time theme. Let's do time theme. Let's say, have you got a favorite time theme?
My favorite time theme is probably from New Leaf, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if you remember it, but it's very slow building piano thing. It's quite simple, but it's very emotional, very nice.
Yeah.
And with it's got that, it's got that kick of nostalgia that just like brings you back to when you were younger and playing the game and everything. It's nice.
Exactly, because this is what I love about it, right? You've been playing that game since you were younger when you started playing it, and that music's always been there, and it still is there today. When you're playing it today, so that it's never changed. So of course, I think that then holds more memories, more emotion, which why. Yeah.
I was going to say also about what you're saying now, relating it to another game. Like, imagine Minecraft, for example.
Yeah.
When I started playing Minecraft when I was very little, I think it was just released on the 360. Like, only just.
Only just
it was
released.
very, very new. Like, not new, but, relatively new at the time.
Relatively.
And the music, obviously, there was the music. And then a lot of things changed. Like, over the years, so many updates, so many things were added. But still going back to the game, there's still that music. And even though the gameplay is now so different, the music's still there. And I think that's like what you're saying now. It can bring you back perfectly.
Exactly. It brings back memories that you've forgotten, but your brain's got locked away. That's why music is so unique. And you love music. I love music. It's just it's so important. It's just so amazing. But yeah, so you got 7 p.m. New Leaf, and I'll say that's. I'll need to remember. I had to go back and listen to that because, of course, I do know the track, but I can't remember it straight away.
And then my favorite KK one will be either KK Jazz or KK Fusion, just because those are. I think they're really good. Like obviously, I saw. For those of you who don't know, look up Charles Cornell, KK Jazz, because he's done a full like jazz trio rendition of it. And the actual track itself, although it's simple, it sounds a bit goofy because it's on the DS and everything.
Yeah.
But hearing it played by a proper piano and a drums and double bass,
Professional, yeah.
it sounds like a real jazz standard that you just hear. It's great.
Yeah,
So
because it
that's
was
why,
written by Kazumi
of course,
Totaka.
yeah, that's the thing. That's why I
Yeah,
always try and nail people on the head, say video game
yeah,
music is just as good as other music. It is written
exactly.
by professional composers, and they know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. They could make, they can make
Mm.
so many really good albums, but because it's a video game, so people will think, oh, it's not as good, but no, it's really good.
Exactly, there's no difference. It's
Mm,
just a new piece. It's a whole new genre. But in a way, that's why it's so amazing. People aren't discovering the goodness of this stuff. It's just great, this sort of music.
mm.
So yeah, I mean, I would say I really like it when I have a lot of respect for people. Of course, the music is really good, but people who take things like a KK Slider album and then they remaster it again, as you said, with real instruments, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
then
that shows people how good it is, and then they
yeah,
appreciate it more.
and they're like,
And then I'm
wow,
happy because everyone's loving the music even more. I'm like, yeah.
yes, let's
Yeah.
go. Yeah, so
I
it's
think
really good.
I was also going to say I've given you a link. You can put it in the
Yeah,
description or
yeah, I was
something.
gonna say, yeah.
But I wrote my own theme inspired by the Animal Crossing 5 p.m. themes from the GameCube and the New Leaf.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
while
You've
making
written
that
it.
one, that was quite nice, quite interesting. It's very relaxing. It's I think I
Mm.
made it like what 10 months ago or something like that. So it's quite
I
it's
mean,
quite a while ago.
I remember listening to it. I think around the time you actually released it, and I think I must have commented or something. I don't know, but I remember I really enjoyed it, and it's a really good thing that Elijah put together. Like he's thought very well of the old 5 p.m. and the new Leaf one.
Yeah.
And you've
So
kind
yes,
of
I've grabbed the
yeah,
old ones and kind of tried to make my own one of it. So it's an original piece.
exactly.
It's
It's
just
the original
simple,
piece, yeah.
relaxing, but the melody is very heavily Totaka inspired. And
Mm.
also when the character Cap'n, like the little
Yes,
turtle that takes you to Tortimer Island.
yes, Cap'n, yeah.
Yeah, so the guy who takes you on his boat and he will sing to you sometimes, you know that?
Oh, his songs
Yeah.
are absolutely
So
just wild.
yeah.
Oh dear, yeah.
So his voice, the sound of his voice and the sound of KK Slider's voice, I tried to replicate that with the melody.
Oh
So
really?
it was very difficult, but I found like a clavichord and I managed to just alter it, and I didn't know what I was
Yeah,
doing at the time because I wasn't really a producer then, but
yeah.
yeah, I was just messing around with it, but I managed to make it sound like Cap'n, like the guy when he's
Mm.
singing. So it sounds like you would hear it in Animal Crossing. That's what I liked about that piece. That's what I'm quite proud of, is that I felt like you could hear that in an actual Animal Crossing game and be like, oh, this is nice.
I think
So
it's yeah. I think it's one thing. I think listening to a piece of music, and then it's another thing actually listening to that piece of music, then hearing the person who produced that music say how they did it and what inspired them. So that was really quite interesting right there because I heard your piece of music come out on the YouTube channel, and now you've just explained to me how what you did. You've combined the two 5 p.m. themes, and then you took Cappen's voice with KK Slider's voice, and then you tried to make it sound more like Cappen's voice because that's really
yeah,
kind of opened it up to me. It's
I
kind
like
of
to
boxed it.
share my inspirations for things. Like I always, with everything I compose, like everything original I compose, I always have an inspiration. With
Yeah,
when like a remaster or an Ace Attorney track, usually the inspiration will just be obviously be Ace Attorney, but then I want it to sound better and more modern
yeah.
and in my own style. So that's kind of where I have less inspiration because it's about, it's just my style inflicted on something else. But when it's
Mm.
these original themes, I love drawing inspiration from it. I've made, songs about Skyrim. I've made, Animal Crossing
Mm.
ones. I've done all sorts. So it's great to share my inspirations with this kind of thing.
Yeah,
Of course,
exactly.
even on the new album, there's a track about London, and I remember I
Yes.
was just walking across London Bridge. For anyone who isn't a Londoner, not Tower Bridge, London Bridge, not the big
London
one.
Bridge. They're
It's a
very
different one.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was walking
Yes.
across London Bridge, and I was just looking across London. I just got this feeling, and then I went home and I just started writing about it, and then the song came out from that. So it's just, yeah, there's always
Wow.
some sort of like magical inspiration behind all the music that I compose,
Yeah.
and it's the same for a lot of people. Other than like, you know, generic pop musicians, everyone has some really, really deep and good
Mm.
inspiration behind their music.
I like that. How you felt something walking across London Bridge,
Mm.
and then you were like, right, I'm going to put this into it. That is so good. I wish now that every time I felt, because I'm pretty sure I may have felt, I've been walking in an area and I'm pretty sure this may have happened to every single person, but you feel a piece of music inside of you that you create yourself.
You all like there's everyone will have had
Yeah.
it where you just at some point you've just felt something creative stem up inside you and you want to just. But the thing is, if you're not a very creative
Mm.
person, or like if you don't know how to play an instrument or write music or write poetry or whatever, you might not know where to put it, and it
Yep.
might go away. But for the people
Exactly.
who have practiced this creative kind of stuff, this is like what we need. We need these epiphanies of music to go, perfect, finally a melody, an idea that I can then turn into it. And because it comes
Elijah,
from the
yeah.
heart, it's just
Yeah,
10 times better.
exactly. Elijah, I'll give you money. You're now my producer. The amount of times, the amount of times I've been sitting in a room and I thought that will be such a good piece of music, but I've not written it down because I can't really write music, and it's gone
If you just
forever.
if you ever like just hum something to me, honestly, I'll turn it into a song.
Yeah, all right, all right. This is going somewhere, right? Yeah, Elijah, you're now going to be my producer. Next time I'm sitting in a forest and I feel I'm going to immediately whip out my phone and I'm going to hum it to you, and you're going to make. I'll give you. This is. I'm joking, but yeah, it's just. This is just. I'm saying the importance of, I think, writing music from your heart, because everybody, I think, when you hear a good tune, right, online or whatever it is, that's been thought of, that's been created. It almost comes out due to feelings or emotions of an area, and that's what's so important with music. So yeah, this is really quite interesting though that you said that, because I 100% have had that time where I've had a banging tune that no one else has had thought of before, but only
Yeah.
me. And I've not actually written it down because I can't write music for all the tea in China. So it's just like, well, yeah. So yeah, that is really quite good. But yeah, 100%, guys. Go and check out Elijah's 5 p.m. theme that he's created himself on his YouTube channel, which will be linked in the description below, along with Totaka's that famous song himself, called Totaka Song, and you can then realize, you can see where all it's been hidden in other music, but that's also going to be linked in the description. But yeah,
hopefully you've all learned something, either about what a leitmotif is, or you've kind of got the idea of a chord leading to a different chord, how that kind of works and feels, or you just learned something about Kazumi Totaka. So
100%. For those of you who are watching, who are Elijah's fans, who've come over to the podcast, this is quality stuff. You don't really hear Elijah explaining this sort of stuff. So this is 100% good. Come here every week till June to hear Elijah talk about his music theory. This
especially
is really
since I'm on a
good.
break right now as well. So
Exactly.
they have
yeah.
no content. Yeah,
It's kind of worked out. It's kind of worked out for you, hasn't it? Because while you're having a break from the YouTube channel, you can then people can still always find you and see what you get up to on the podcast. So yeah, that's really quite interesting. Yeah, thank you so much for talking about Kazumi Totaka. I've definitely heard of him in the past, but I've never had him been explained in such a good way, and I've never had an idea of how amazing he really is. He's a talented guy.
He himself is like a hidden gem in the Nintendo community.
Exactly.
I think everyone needs to just kind of look him up at some point.
He needs an award. This guy needs an award. He does. He's amazing, and yeah, biggest respect to that guy, and he's such an inspiration to many. But yeah, on to questions now. Questions of the week. So, question of the week this week from Dylan. Would you like to read out his question?
Sure. Dylan says, "Hey guys, how are you doing? I've been binge listening to all your podcast episodes ever since I stumbled across 2 weeks ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely loving the content, guys. My question for you both is, when playing Pokemon games, what are you like with changing the battle style settings? Do you take away the option for battle effects, or do you leave it turned on? I tend to leave it on because of the effects, because some of the effects really bring the battles to life. Interested to hear back. Yes, you're hearing back from us.
You're hearing back from us. Yes, well done.
P.S. I was wondering whereabouts Judah's from. He sounds like a true Londoner. I'll send him a Cockney. All the best, Dylan from Southeast London.
Oh,
Southeast
well
London. Hey, I'm
Southeast
from
London.
No, thank you.
yeah. I mean, yeah. First of all, a small little PS. Yeah, I'm from London. Born in London. Born in Harlesden, which is a crap hole. It was horrible.
How long did you stay there? How long did you grow up there for?
I grew up in London for about, I think, 2-3 years. I was born there, and then I moved up to Leicester, Leicestershire.
Yeah, you left. So Judah left London quite early, but he still somehow magically got a bit of Cockney, kind of just shoved in, probably from your mum, to be honest. But yeah,
let me explain. A bit about my accent. So basically, I grew up in London for 3 years. So I was throughout 3 years. We moved all the way up to Leicestershire for job stuff. The rest of my family are all down south, back down south. You know, Kent. There's my dad, right? He's originally from Kent, so they're a bit more posh over there. They pronounce their T's and stuff. But yeah, where my mum's from, she was born where actually Elijah's mum was born, and they grew up together. Funny enough, in London. So yeah, that's how me and Elijah know each other. And but yeah, basically, my mum is more of a Cockney person that so her English, I think, has improved the more she's been married to my dad. But it's definitely with me, I was with my mum. I was actually homeschooled. This is going to my personal life. I was homeschooled for 9 years, and then I attended primary school. Went my out in school in Leicestershire, but I always kept my accent. Many
Yes, it's
people
very
ask why.
interesting how you did that. Yeah.
It is because I think it's mainly because I spent a lot of time around my mum and
Yeah, I
my
was gonna
dad.
say, yeah, because you weren't actually in London for the majority of your
Exactly.
life, but you were around your mum. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
spent 12 years in Hackney, and I only got a bit of a Cockney accent, so it's I don't know, it's weird things. Yeah.
It is weird. It is definitely weird. I don't. Again, Dylan. This is a good question. I don't really know why I've got such a strong sort of Cockney accent. But it's more. I'd say I'm halfway in between. I'd say I'm half Cockney and half Kentish. I do pronounce it T sometimes, but I do say butter a lot. And then if I
Wow.
want, I can go proper Cockney. Should I do it? Should I go proper Cockney?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go on.
All right, mate. I just came back from work and blow your candles out. It's your birthday, mate. My mother said to me last week that it was your birthday, so I bought some candles. I'm gonna go for a drive down the M1, mate. All right, meet your brother in the car. I don't know.
You sound like a toothless taxi driver or something.
Yeah, that was definitely a rubbish impersonation. But it was just a bit. Cockney is, I don't know. It almost sounds Australian, my sort of accent. Many people have said that, and I'm like, well, I don't know. It's a unique accent, and I think I don't really need to try because I've kind of got it in me, as Dylan's already noticed. It's just in me. But
It's just somewhere, somehow, magically in you. Right.
it is. It's somehow in my accent. Yeah. As for you, you're a Hackney, aren't you? More of a
Yeah, so I am technically a Cockney. I'm an EastEnder, but
yeah.
I just don't sound as much like it as other people, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. You're more a posh guy than the EastEnders themselves. But
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I don't pronounce my T's properly all the time, but I'm not constantly missing out my T's and sounding like I need to go to the hospital. So it's fine.
Exactly. It's definitely a working class accent. I think most people. Yeah, honestly, Dylan, it's quite interesting. Again, I think it's because each year I constantly travel down south. I'm constantly in Greater London. I'm constantly in Kent. I'm not always in Leicestershire. In the half term, I'm travelling down to see family, so I'm always around Londoners. I'm always around people with my accent. My friends, again, are also quite a lot of them are from London, and I talk to them on the phone. And then quite a few. Then I've got also a lot of friends up here in Leicestershire, which have the Leicester accent when they say "but" and "the grass." And it's for those of you from Leicester listening. Yes, I do know I have a couple of Leicester listeners. It's a very different accent to London, but I've kept it, and I'm definitely made fun of it all the time. My friends always like to take the mick out of me.
I think it's the thing is I quite like the accent. I quite like a good Cockney accent. It's because I guess for me because it's like home in a way. Because I think the weird thing was I grew up in Hackney, and I think I went to school I switched schools 7 times.
So, wow.
One of my schools, I think most of my schools were in the city, kind of in central London. So they had quite
mix.
very culturally diverse people. Either some posh people, some just street roadmen, slang people, and then lots of like foreign people as well. So it's like a very wide variety of accents to go off of. So I kind of just kept to my own weird mix of everything, and that's how I've always sounded, I guess.
Yeah. So
weirdly enough, I do use Cockney slang sometimes, but I don't know why.
I do. I think I said to my friend, he was a right minger the other day. I kept quite a bit of it.
I mean, like like the Cockney rhyming slang, like
yes.
So
Give us an example.
history lesson, kind of back in the day.
I'll test you on your Cockney.
When there were lots of I mean, there's even more gangs now, but back in the day, like the Crays and all of that.
Yes.
They would, to not be kind of caught by police when talking about stuff, they would rhyme certain words. So, like for example, like bottle and stopper, that means copper. Like borrow and beg is egg. Like I don't know, like
yes,
like coal and coke is broke. It's like it's all like that's what they would use that's slang. Like days are dawning, morning. Everyone knows that one pretty much. But
wow, you're more known on this than me. I mean, I knew that sort of stuff, but I never really knew it that well. And it's
I've known quite a few taxi drivers just coincidentally, and they were very cocky. So.
Again, Dylan, it's just probably just being around people from Cockney a lot. My mum's from Cockney, she's from EastEnder, London, and so I'm around her quite a bit. I live with my parents, So
Yeah.
yeah. So you're correct. I am in fact an East End Cockney person.
And it's good to see a question from someone from East London. You're from South East, but it's fine.
South
Still East
East,
London.
He's a Londoner like us,
Yeah,
why not? A good old Londoner, mate. Well done.
Good
boy.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I can. If I really go into the accent, I can. But I do kind of just when I'm speaking normally like this, you can tell I am Cockney. But then again, I'm not all the way. I don't use the slang and stuff. But
it's like you're not Cockney, but you sound more Cockney than most Cockneys.
It's funny.
I mean, it's intriguing. It's amazing. It's great.
It's intriguing. Honestly, Dylan, I don't know myself how I kept my Cockney accent when I lived literally 2 hours away from London.
But at least now he knows where you're from and stuff. So
exactly, he does.
Works, yeah.
At least you now know where Judah the host is from, and of course, Elijah is from. Then of course, Ryan Fern, he's not here to speak, but he's from Leicester, so of course you always know his accent's going to be very different to mine.
Bit northern, bit Midlands-ish, Like
Midlands,
kind of yeah.
All right, Docker. Yeah, that's one of the last point on this. When I came to Leicestershire, I was called a duck. I was like, "What's going on?" Like in London.
Right.
I'm taking the mick out of you Leicester people, but in London we have a bit more respect. We say, "All right, mate, how you doing? Are you doing all right, mate?" Mate. We call each other mate. And then in Leicester, you call each other duck or duck. Call you a duck.
That's so strange.
It's like, I mean, my friend from college just called me a chicken. I was messaging her. She was like, "All right then, chicken." I was like, "What?" Okay.
Also, it's like what I've been to. I went to Birmingham quite a lot because I used to have a partner in Birmingham. And like in London, if you see someone, or you're just saying hi to someone, like even if you don't know them, you might just, you might just nod your head to them. Like,
yeah.
Hey, how you doing? But I did that in Birmingham just accidentally, and then people give me funny looks like, "Why are you looking at me? Why are you nodding your head at me?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just, sorry, bad habit, just saying hi, being nice."
I think that's a Londoner thing, We just do that a lot. We
nod. It must be. I feel like I thought everyone kind of did that, but I guess not. But
I think we're pretty stuck into the whole parts of the UK now. But conversation. But to be fair, while we're on the topic, in where Leicestershire I'm from, you do tend to get quite. I mean, if I was to describe, I probably know more about Leicestershire than my accent is from Cockney. I don't know that much about London. I know a lot about Leicestershire because that's where I grew up. But in the city of Leicester, which is where I had to go through every single day to get to college and stuff, it's definitely, I say that people are a lot more open to come up and talk to you. It is pretty rough. Yeah. I mean, the city of Leicester is pretty rough. I would say it's probably the sort of area you wouldn't go to if it was in London. It's pretty rough.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of,
either East or South London, yeah.
There's a lot of drug dealers. There's a lot of that sort of stuff going on. Yeah. It's quite rough. Yes, it's very sort of East London. So let's say Leicester was in London, I would say it's probably going to offend a lot of Leicester people. But I'm talking, there are lovely parts of Leicester, but I'm talking the central Leicester. The city centre. It is pretty rough. It is pretty rough.
That's just UK problems now, because Birmingham is the same, Manchester's the same, Liverpool's the same. There's always like some just really, really rough area of like every major city in the UK. We don't want to deter tourists, of course. Come over to the UK.
Come on, it's lovely. Yeah,
you can come to London, come to the capital. Yeah, just don't go to random housing estates in East London or South London.
Yeah, don't go to quiet alleyway places. Yeah. Don't.
Obviously, there's no need to anyway, but don't get lost.
The Birmingham gangs have got worse, I think. I mean, I can now announce this. I think it's the first time announcing this. I've told Elijah this before. I'm going to be acting in a movie this summer. Hey, a lot to work on. Very busy. But yeah, I've been given the role lead character in a movie. Of course, I'm signing on a contract not to say what it is and what I'll be doing, but I can say I'll be shooting in Birmingham. So that's one of the areas that we're going to be shooting in. And the film is all shot at night, right? It's a film that's shot in the night. So of course, because it's film license, we have the entire area of part of the city cleared out, in fact, for some of the seeds. But it's still, when the shooting's over and it's closed up and I might feel like I want to go and get a sandwich, I've got to go out in the middle of the night in Birmingham.
I'd say, bring food with you.
Exactly. So I'm not going to go into a convenience store in the middle of the night in central Birmingham. Not a good idea. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't in Leicester either. Leicester's also not somewhere you want to be walking around at night, as certain parts of London. Again, the UK is a lovely place, guys. I'm not saying
we're talking about the bad. Like everywhere has bad areas.
Everywhere has bad areas. We're talking about the bad areas, and unfortunately, where I was born was one of the roughest estates like alive. Harleston. Yeah, Harleston still's pretty bad. Harleston.
I don't know. I don't go there often.
Yeah, I've never been there since I was born there. I never want to be fair. It's pretty bad. But yeah. I mean, yeah. There you go, Dylan. You've worked it out. I am a Cockney, but I'm not. I've never really stayed in Cockney that much. I've lived in Leicestershire, which is the opposite.
You
So
betrayed your East London brethren.
I did. But it's funny when I've got some college friends that are actually from East London, from Cockney themselves. Like they came to Leicestershire for similar reasons, work, family wise, and they hear my accent and we just click. We're like, "Hey, mate," it's just lovely. It's lovely. Like, you say grass, right? I'm like, yeah, we say grass. I mean, we all form a big community.
Oh yeah, thank goodness. I've been thinking about the amount of times I've gone to Birmingham and everyone's saying like castle. It's like just a castle, mate. Come on, castle, castle. You sound like a numpty. Come on.
Exactly. Come on, mate. Yeah, exactly. Me and my friends love taking the mickey out each other because they're like, "Oh, where's the R in grass?" I'm like, "What? It's not grass, is it?" Like, come on. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we don't mean to mock people's accents. We know everyone has their own accents, but I don't respect any Northerners, and I never will. So
no, exactly. I'm glad to stand with you there, Elijah, because I'm not a Northerner. I never will stand with you, Northerners.
We'll fight to the bitter end. Yeah.
We will fight to the end, and all my friends listening who make fun of me know exactly what I'm talking about. And my northern friends, you're still my friends, but there's always that in between. I'm a southerner, you're a northerner, and that's where I will turn.
I want to go too far south though, because you get like more posh the further south you go.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then
I'll definitely if I have a last point on this, if I was ever had a choice of moving to anywhere in the UK down south, it would probably be Surrey. But Surrey is extremely expensive.
Surrey? Why Surrey? Why Surrey?
Oh, Surrey, it's lovely. You've got the nice big houses, fields. What was it bad?
No, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit bland, isn't it? Like,
a bit, probably a bit.
Not really.
Yeah, a good nightlife district. Okay. Let's be honest. If I was to live anywhere in the UK, it'd probably be okay. So let's say not Surrey, right? Okay, so you don't approve of Surrey, all right? Let's go Brighton. What about that? Good nightlife.
Brighton, okay. Interesting.
I mean, I don't really like Central Brighton. I went there. I actually went out with a friend from Japan. She came over to see me. And she was doing some stuff. Me and her went to Brighton for the first time. It was her first time in Brighton and my first time in Central Brighton. The pier and everything.
Yeah.
And I think my second time actually. I've been there more than once. But yeah, we went and had some fish and chips together and stuff. It was so packed.
Yeah, Brighton is heavily populated, and also they've got so many different communities there. But it's like there's lots of there's big party communities in Brighton for everyone's kind of into party and stuff, and that's great.
Yeah.
But it means the streets can be quite packed, and you won't be able to get a seat in a pub and things like that. So
exactly, yeah. Because we were going in and out of restaurants before we eventually chose because it was so all full. It was completely packed. It was summer as well, so everyone was there on their holiday. And 100%. I love a good nightlife. I love to be out in the night. Maybe go for a pub. I would say that's probably a good place to go. Like Brighton, it's got good nightlife. Got some good clubs there and stuff.
It feels like another London. Like Brighton feels like another London, but on the coast in a way.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's got some really good clubs. They've even got teenage clubs as well. So if you're under 18, you can go clubbing, which is really quite interesting. I wouldn't recommend it that well.
Oh yeah.
I went into one of them, with my friend, this teenage nightclub, and people were still passing cocaine around. I was like, okay, fair enough. I didn't do it, but it's just not the best. It's not the best. You do get these. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I would say if you love a good nightlife and you choose the right place, you can have a fun time. Yeah. But
if you're into that,
if you're into that, that is. The thing is, I like a good, countryside scene, and then again, I like to go for a good nightlife with my mates. So I probably would choose Hove or something. Maybe Hove, the next city next to Brighton.
All right, yeah.
Got the sea. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, massive tangent there. But yeah, okay, on to the question.
Oh yeah, the actual question.
The actual question. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was when playing Pokemon games. What do you both like with the battle settings? Right. Okay. For me, I leave battle effects on because obviously it makes it look so it makes it look great. Brings it all to life. I like to see the move animations and things like that. But I have it on, what is it? Is it set mode? The one where you can't switch. Yeah, set.
Yeah, set.
So when someone throws out the Pokemon, you can't see beforehand and change. I prefer it that way because I do a lot of competitive Pokemon playing online. So hence I kind of try and keep the habit when I'm playing actual games.
Yeah,
What about
exactly.
you, Judah?
Well, I leave it turned on. Now, for the simple fact is that, again, I think we talked about this last episode about, I think, how we were annoyed at how they took out the battle with trainers, haven't they? They've taken that out.
Yeah.
You can't lock eyes with them, and they immediately are stuck into a battle. And the reason why you're upset with that is because the amount of effort the people put into that, right?
Hmm.
The animation, the hard work. The reason I keep it turned on is simple. I want to see the amazing effects and the
Yeah, of
amount I want to
course. Yeah.
respect. Each effect was created. There's so
Hmm.
much effects. Like for each move, there's so much effects for each. For instance, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Sun, you've got the Z power. Of course, I'm not really
Yeah.
over a massive fan because it's not a gym, but it's still interesting, you know. And it's
Yeah,
got
it's still like spectacular to see. Like,
exactly the amount of combinations there are, and each one has a effect, and that was really carefully and well put together. And that's why I leave it on for the respect of the designers, and just it looks awesome in a whole. Yes, it does take longer, but you know why not?
yeah.
It's all fun.
I had a friend before who was so impatient that they would never put the battle effects on, and I went to their house before, and I'd
Yeah.
be playing with them, and then they would just like they'd be done like an hour before me, and I'd be like, "Why? What happened?" And oh, I turn off battle effects, want to save time, and then like they just
Yeah.
skip through all the text as well. I'm like, "You're missing all the gameplay, man. What are you doing?" It's like,
This is the gameplay.
yeah, this is literally you're not watching the moves, and you're not even reading the dialogue. You're just clicking super effective moves, and then you put the game down. You're like, I've beaten it. How is that fun for anyone? What on earth?
That's
Like
depressing.
it's so mind-boggling to me.
Whoever that is, what are you doing, mate? Come
Yeah,
on,
what you do? I
like,
haven't talked to him in years, but I hope you've changed
that's
your life around, mate.
that's the end of your friendship ever since that
Yeah.
happened. But yeah, I think, yeah, 100%. Like, I feel like a lot of people are like that. Like those people are just like they just do it for the sake of completing the game, as if to be like, yeah, I've done it, but they've not actually experienced it, have
Yeah,
they? They've not.
you don't experience it, you don't enjoy it, and it's like, yeah, so you can be like, oh yeah, I played the Pokemon game, it wasn't that great. Yeah, but that's because you missed half of it. Like,
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
How, yeah, you can't leave an honest review when you didn't
Yeah,
play the game. It's like, ah.
I played Shield, and you know it was pretty mid. There was nothing much there at all, you know. But mate, you didn't turn the effects on. You didn't do this. You missed skip
Oh yeah, it's
you
like,
skipped
oh
the
yeah, it's
entire
like,
bloody game.
how much time did you spend in the wild area? Huh? What's the wild area? I just kind of walked through it. You idiot! Come on.
Yeah. So, well, what about the building? This I ran past it, mate. I was trying to get to the end. I was like, mate, you're supposed to explore it and enjoy the game as you go along.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the whole point of.
And then there's some people skip the cutscenes as well. It's like you really just don't care about anything at all
What?
in the game. You just play. How do
No,
you could just play Pokemon Showdown online. Like you don't need to
they
waste money.
skip the cutscenes.
I know, yeah, the same guy. He skipped the cutscenes and the text and everything.
They
Man.
obviously don't care about the actual story. Then they're the sort of people who like to play online. Then because that's like that isn't for the story.
But then that's what I'm saying. Like, just play online. If you like the online kind of play, and you don't really want the story, don't buy the. You can just play it online. Like when the online Pokemon playing things, they have the updated Pokemon for every new generation.
Exactly.
So you don't need to go buy the game. Just like
I
don't get it.
Pretty simple, guys. Yeah, I mean, I
don't
think
know.
the reason why we're both passionate about this is because we realised the amount of hard work that people put into creating this game. Like this took days of hard effort in the office by Nintendo producers and then what you're doing is you're buying the game. Okay, fair enough. You're buying the game, and then you just don't even bother to look at the effects. I mean, of course, some people I can respect. Maybe you do it for a certain reason, but come on, guys. The reason I leave it on is because it's just nice. It's to see the amount of hard work they put into it. It's to enjoy the actual game. That's what it's made for. It's to make it more enjoyable. But when you just turn it all off, it's just like, well, there's not much point. And of course you're going to say it's boring, mate, because you didn't actually. I've realised I'm saying mate a lot more now because we're talking about.
Yeah, I feel like after reading Dylan's comment, we both kind of shifted into
London
too much London. Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of put emphasis on it. Yeah.
So I put more. I've realised all of a sudden I'm saying mate a lot more. I'm not being as professional as I
I don't.
should
Yeah,
be.
I don't. The thing is, I don't usually say mate that often. I say mate every now and then. But I'm more into saying like I just say it in it and things like that.
I mean,
but people just it is annoying when people going back to it again. It's annoying when people poke fun at you like, oh, in it, water. Like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. It's my accent, mate. This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
I think with the podcast, I like how chill it is. You can be who you are. I tend to put on like professional phase. Like I try not to be too Londoner because that's good because I think I need to kind of drop that a bit because if I mean, me and Ronan are hoping to do some live streams soon with the podcast, and you're going to see my true Londoner accent because I'm not because I'll be just sitting there responding to you guys, and after a few hours, I'll start my actual and in real life, if you follow me around, I say, you know what I mean, all the time.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is even my teachers at college are like, yes, I know what you mean. I'm like, you don't need to say that. I'm just saying it because I'm like,
Yeah, it's like people who say basic, like they'll start every sentence with basically. It's like you don't need to explain it with basically. Just explain it.
yeah,
Or when they
exactly.
put like in front, I just realized I did it. I said when they put like,
yeah,
I said it
yeah,
myself like this. Yeah,
yeah.
when they say like this, it's quite hard to get out of that habit. But yeah, it's annoying.
100%. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd also say in it. I say this is some Londoner slang for those of you from different countries. You know what I mean? In it, mate. I say that those 3 words. I say that all the time.
If you come to
Yeah.
London, you should like find a local person and call him a tosser. He will love you so much.
He
Yeah,
will love you
he'll
so
be your
much.
best friend forever. He'll give you his money.
He
Just
will.
call him a ruddy tosser, and
In
then
fact, he
like
may even take you to the nearby pub, and you can call the other people tossers as well. You know.
exactly. He may even
Yeah.
take you to his van. You never know. It'll be great. Yeah.
It'll be great, yeah, guys, yeah. But, this is quite funny, to be fair, because I mean, this is a great interest to many of our listeners because I think I've looked. 50% of our listeners are from the UK, and 50% of them are from the United States of America. So,
That's interesting. That's less than I have
yeah.
80% from America.
Oh wow. I
Yeah,
mean,
not a lot of UK people on my end. That's interesting.
it's changed up now. We've got people from Japan, Germany listening and stuff now.
Mm.
So I mean, this is called the London lingo. This is you're learning quite a bit about the London lingo, and this is quite interesting for you guys because this is like the slang of London. It's just accents. There's many different accents within. For instance, in New York, they say, "What are you talking about?" And then in some parts of America, they're like, I mean, Americans, I'm really sorry if I just butchered the accent. In other parts of America, they just say, "What are you talking about?" You know, because I mean, it's just very different. It's like the same thing with Londoners, but with London, it's just a massive worm. Like it's the UK is just so complex
Yeah.
with
I will
slang.
say though, with like
Yeah,
if you go to the UK as a tourist, don't
yeah.
try and mimic people's accents. Don't try and be like, oh, I want to blend in. I want to use your slang, say or like speak like you do. People
Yeah,
will really find that like they will get irritated by that. That will piss them off.
it
Don't do that.
will.
But like
Yeah.
I feel like there's a big disconnect between Americans and British people in the sense that our sense of humors are very different. I
Oh
feel like
yeah, yeah.
I've met a lot of Americans who make jokes and they laugh, and I'm just standing there. That was really cringy. I don't really get it. And then I can make a joke to them, and they'll get really offended by it. And I'm like, it's a joke.
Mm.
Like, relax. But they don't. Yeah, I love Germans though. Germans are brilliant because they
No,
can make the
Germans.
stupidest
Yeah.
joke, and they'll just laugh their head off for ages. And then it's
Yeah.
not even funny, but then because they're laughing, you start laughing. It's great.
Exactly. I've got some great German friends, and they could actually understand what you're saying there. They're just jolly people. I think.
Mm.
I think the thing is though with Americans, we have a lot of American listeners, so they probably understand this. But there's something called sarcasm that exists. You know, I've been a bit sarcastic there myself. Yeah, sarcasm, right? It's probably literally every single British person. If you've not used sarcasm in your life, you're not British. I'm sorry.
I
There's
feel
something
like
wrong with you.
the thing is like with Americans, obviously they know what sarcasm is, but
Mm.
like when they're sarcastic, often it would be because they're being passive aggressive. But when
Yeah.
we're sarcastic, most of the time we're just joking around, or we're just so used to being sarcastic that we can't help
Yeah.
it. So
Exactly.
yeah, so don't
Yeah.
be offended. Like for tourists who come to the UK, don't be offended if someone says something that's slightly offensive to you. They probably didn't mean it that way.
Exactly, because I think quite a similar situation to this. There was my friend, also from London, a bit like me.
Mm.
He had an American friend that came to visit, like a pen pal type dude, came
Okay.
over, and and he was wearing this weird hat or something. I forget what it was. He was wearing this hat that my London friend didn't really like. Like it was like thought made him look weird, and of course, being the sarcastic Londoner, he was like, "Oh, that looks great on you, mate. You know, it's absolutely." Beautiful. Like, it looks great on you. And the American actually believed him. He was like, really? Thank you so much. It's like, no. Actually, yeah, it makes you look a bit silly, mate. It was like, you just told me it looks great on me. No, I was being sarcastic. It's like a thing, I think, that sometimes other cultures don't quite get, and it can be a bit confusing, but it's
But
just,
that's understand.
yeah.
Like if I go to a foreign country, I'm not going to understand their inside jokes and their
Mm,
little things that they can say. Well, that's just going anywhere, really.
Exactly.
I think that's every place in the world is very different, so
it's just cultural
it's to be
difference.
expected, yeah.
It's to be expected. But yeah, of course, we've learned a lot on this episode. I think it's been a great episode, one of my favourites. We've learned all about new Animal Crossing New Horizons will be shutting in 37 years. Will not be shutting entirely, but you can't have the time. It won't be carrying on. You have to restart back to the year 2000 because the clock hasn't been fixed. Bloody hell! And then we've learned about the new Pokémon Anime. We've learned about Kazumi Totaka, which is a great segment. Go check that out. And we've learned all about London lingo from me and Elijah, who are Londoners ourselves, along with along with a lot more stuff. But yeah, anyway, please send in your questions and comments to jrsgaming135@gmail.com. Please subscribe and follow us on whatever platform you're listening from and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. This will help us out greatly and get the podcast around. Our socials will be in the description, our Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, website, and Discord, including the link to your YouTube channel, Elijah, and the music links, along with Elijah's 5 p.m. recreation with the Animal Crossing, and the Totaka's theme. It should be really interesting. But until then, it's a goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.